Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to Jalapeno Milk. I am Mecha McCheese, sometimes called Mike Oxmall, and formerly a huge ass. I hope that song wasn't too hard on the ears for everybody, but I'm feeling a little snarky, and I'm slurping again. I apologize. I'm trying to learn this stuff. As we go, the coffee's a little hot, and I guess I didn't have the sound. Well, I feel like a fool. How about now? Yeah. All right. I'm sorry for messing that up, guys. I'm sure it ran off a lot of people this morning. So, as everyone knows, sorry about the song. So, as everyone knows, there's a lot going on this morning. It's angelic. Yeah. No Man's Sky. Sure. Yeah. There's a lot going on, and instead of monologuing too long, I've got a couple of guests that want to come on and talk some stuff. So I'm going to send the link out here pretty soon. And depending on how the conversation goes, I'll probably end up just dropping the link in the chat. But I got two people that want to come on first. And I think we all have a lot to say. So it's going to be kind of the town square this morning. Just get everyone's thoughts out. Kind of get a catharsis amongst each other. Mecha Oxmall, yeah. Oh, yeah. And maybe I'll show that before we bring on the guests. If you guys didn't hear, over on Chester Bubsby's channels last night for the fan edition, they did an episode on, I guess it was Mental Militia, and somebody we all know very well on this channel made an appearance. So I don't know if there's any particular moment I could point to. Let me see here.
What? Yeah. What? You've never been to a concert. They haven't
invented music in New Zealand yet.
Oh, okay, let's see.
Definitely.
Guys.
Wisdom, so we can all say, namaste afterwards. So just make sure you're in your mind.
One named Rabbit.
Yeah. That's cool. You call it that?
Ooh.
I love it.
Sorry, guys. Just give me a second.
It is. This is a great humanitarian.
I'm very excited.
Yeah.
It's all been building up to this.
It is. Mr. Oxmall, take it away.
That's Mike Oxmall made an appearance on the fan edition last night, and I guess he won. He cleaned up shop. He came in, and I guess he's got some kind of drawing ability. So this is pretty funny to me. Let's see what he has to say.
I've been accused of being Mecha McCheese. I've been accused of being 7. Judge me by the content of my words rather than the flavor. You can talk to any of those two individuals. They are fine gentlemen and most likely very handsome. And as far
I couldn't agree with this man more.
As far as my namaste moment, I would say that has anyone really been decided as far to have Go even want to do look more like?
Huh?
Namaste. That is from classic. That is from classic.
You miss it. Batman's back.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Later, everybody.
So if you guys want to check out Chester Bubsby's channel, he's got let's see. HG. He's on the whole episode, so you'd have to check the whole thing out. But they do this fan edition, and originally started out they just copied Mike Miller's thing, but it's become its own deal. They started calling it the Ultimate Edition, and they just been doing their own thing. And last night was they took a song or band or album cover or whatever it was, and they just drew whatever inspired them to do that. And I think to Mike Oxmall's credit, he took I guess this was the cover to Trivium, one of their albums, and I guess the album he was talking about was anti-bullying themed. So he was he's a gentleman, obviously, and he's out there. I think he pitched a couple charities at the end with his time too. So that's interesting. It's an interesting piece of artwork. Not exactly sure what he's going for. Oh, and I have my first guest this morning. You guys may know him very well, and I'm very very proud to see that joined by the man himself, Mr. Doug TeNapel.
Yeah, the show starts now. The show begins now, baby. Now.
That's right. If you guys don't know who Doug TeNapel is, well, I'm sure you'll find out. How you doing this morning?
You may not know me, but I know you because I got your docs, mother effer. If you got my bugs, I got your docs.
So yeah, this morning is I think we all need a little bit of a catharsis. It's going to turn into something of a town square. Just get everyone's thoughts. I had a monologue planned out and some screenshots and everything.
I don't want to grease your monologue though.
No. I'm done with the monologue. I think we all just need to get this out. And did you see that?
I'm actually relaxed this morning. I need someone to hype me up. I'm feeling.
Woo. Well, did you see that Mike Oxmall made an appearance on the fan edition?
Did I see that? I saw a clip of him. I saw the clip of him with the red mask on saying something. It was like a 1 minute clip.
Yeah, let me see if I could pull that up on my Twitter because I was trying to get you to show it on your show, but we were kind of wrapping up at the time. Let me.
Oh, I didn't know you wanted me to show.
Oh, it's okay. I got you right now. Let's see here. Yeah,
that's him.
And you may know me from my appearance on Liam Gray's channel recently. I simply have decided to come this way.
You like that X-Files?
Speak out on something I love very good.
I guess
how's your show going? Your strange, weird paranormals. I don't want to call it paranormals because
no. We don't want to step on Elliot's toes, but and Brian Sherrer's the Etha.
The Etha.
Oh yeah, we got a show tonight. I just shared something to the DM group that I was really interesting. Since we have all this controversy with the umbrella guy going on, maybe I'll give us a little preview of what to expect on I Kinda Believe tonight. Let me pull up that group. It's have you ever heard of the umbrella guy? That was caught at the JFK assassination.
Who, Fug?
This guy right here.
Oh, there he is. Look at that.
So he's got an umbrella. This is the JFK assassination. And
is that what he's referencing? That umbrella guy?
I don't know. Maybe.
I don't know what he's trying to reference.
Oh, yeah. Resident Evil, maybe the video game. And apparently this same guy was seen over at the Minneapolis riots.
Oh, there's another one. Coincidence?
Apparently he was 3 feet from JFK when he got assassinated. And there's that photo. I'll have to do some digging in. He's got that circle. It's not red, but it's yellow. But, so that's
show.
Yeah.
What the hell happened to my video? Did I freeze up my video? Look at my video. There I am.
Yeah, there you go. But yeah, so that's going to be on I Kinda Believe tonight. We got
I Kind of Believe. I like the non-committal title.
We're not sure. We don't want people to think we're crazy. We're talking about Tug being involved in the JFK assassination. So we're already kind of out there.
Yeah. He probably was. Or as Trump says, it was probably his father was involved with the JFK assassination.
Right. And he, afterwards he went and got a beer with Ted Cruz,
after calling his wife ugly.
Yeah, right.
He implied his wife was ugly, and
then he went to Lake Berryessa in California and murdered a young couple that was picnicking out there.
Yep. Knew it.
We got your number.
But did any of these guys ever watch their wife while she was trying to get private pictures?
Yes,
of backers, of some of my backers. Would they ever? I don't know what you'd call. What do you call that when you watch your wife engage with other men, trying to get them to send pictures of their privates? What is there a word for that?
I'm checking with my most trusted source, Merriam-Webster, and I'm gonna just take a guess here.
Or cug? One of those.
Let's see. Definition is a man whose wife is unfaithful. That's kind of broad, but I think that covers it.
Okay, tuggled.
Yeah, Tuggled. Tuggled, but he's talking about what was it? What's his big thing? Is hypocrisy.
Yeah, that guy.
Thy name is Tuggled. Oh,
I'm happy that he squares away all my hypocrisy. I'm not sure. Choo-choo.
Eric Scott Hawkins with the Zombie for World of Oz drew this last night for the draw along when Mike Oxmall made an appearance.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, he's wow, that's something else. Oh, we got a sequel to Sonic the Hedgehog coming out.
That's important for all of my fellow 53-year-old men out there. There's a Sonic sequel.
Did you ever work on this video game, Glover?
I barely remember that.
Oh man, you played as a glove. Tim Lim might know something about this one.
I barely remember. Yeah, Tim Lim. That's right. Hand glove.
Oh man. Glover. Yeah. Let's see. I got one more clip to show, and then I want to ask you about your experience with some of this stuff. Oh, and now this is from our show the other day with the spinner rack. We talked about Mark Waid's Irredeemable. We talked about body horror in the Immortal Hulk.
Oh, look at that. That's a good
have you seen this panel?
No.
This is absolutely insane. They had the Hulk cut up and thrown into a bunch of jars, and the scientist observing him was like, I'm going to experiment on you forever. And Hulk's like, nah, you think you're going to, but what I'm really going to do is reform my body and suck you into it.
It sounds like Bigfoot Bill.
Barefoot William, large foot.
Barefoot William. That's a good looking panel, though.
Yeah, it was. Let's see it. Sorry, it's taken me so long to find this. Oh, classic Godzilla scene right there.
Oh yeah, doing the tail drag, flying kick. That was in Godzilla versus Megalon, right?
Yeah, that's a good one. That one had the what was it, Jet Jaguar in it?
Yeah, Godzilla versus Megalon is when they go, look, we're not even going to try to be cool anymore.
Oh, okay, so here's a good clip from that umbrella guy.
Hey there, you want professionalism?
Hey there,
fuck that. If you want a bad guy, I'll be your bad guy too. The only thing they were abject humiliation.
I'm following this little girl.
Bend over and just take it. Just take it.
Mute this man. Mute this man.
That's exactly right. We're gonna mute Tug for the rest of it.
Mute. You can't mute me because I have 50 puppet accounts. Me and my wife 50 puppet accounts. Don't forget, folks, I am being tormented as they destroy my mailbox. And please send me money. These guys he's a televangelist, right? Remember the televangelist. Y'all, if you all love Jesus, send me some money.
Oh, what's that? What's my favorite pastor's name? Joel Osteen.
Joel Osteen. Love that guy.
The prosperity gospel.
He has that little bit of southern. Hey, y'all, little comfort. Hey, y'all. Hello.
Well, yeah. So we have this cuckold thing.
Hello there.
I understand, Doug, that you have quite a history with this, and then
Tuggle
campaign in general. Let me ask you, what's your reaction to like the last day and a half of this was campaign thing?
I've never laughed harder. I feel bad for laughing, of course, but it is hilarious. It is the funniest. You think Detroit was on fire? You should see CG.
That is a take right there.
Yeah. So I used to laugh at the creators in CG, and now I just laugh at the backers. Really? Now I just think,
but now they're going to hit you on that. Oh, how dare you insult!
I love being hit. I want them to replay that quote over and over again. Used to laugh at the creators. Now I'm laughing at the backers. And by backers, I mean, I mean the guys, the true believers, not the ones that are having fun, buying their comics, getting a good comic. If they don't care, I don't care. The true believers who think they're fighting the SJWs and fighting doxing by supporting CUG and fighting sexual harassment and abuse by supporting Was campaign. Those are the ones I'm laughing at. And of course, the orange Moontang over there, the orange guy.
Liam.
Liam.
Let me tell you,
he's kind of the new favorite guy over on that side.
Well, that's the guy I'm ripping off. He's had so much success just being the toilet for CG to take their dumps on. I figure, I take a little bit of that element and try to, steal his show somewhat.
So I like Liam, but my number one favorite all time, You know who my number one favorite all time is?
Who's that?
Micah Curtis.
Oh, I did a show on him yesterday.
Micah Curtis is my number one. I had two friends text me yesterday, and they said, I hate everything that movement is about, and I can't stop watching Liam's show. And one of them said, especially Micah Curtis. And I wrote him back and said, he is the greatest character I've ever seen on the internet. I think he should be PewDiePie. He should have billions of followers. Micah.
Oh God, yeah. Me and Captain Cummings did a I guess they call it the term EFAP.
Yeah,
we break it down frame by frame, and there was one part in the stream we did where we're just looking at this dude, and he's got this kind of this. I think it was the most smug face I've ever seen in my life. He kind of just sits back and he's like, "Thank God that I have a brain.
Yeah,
thank God that I know."
I love him.
Oh, let's see.
He needs to drink more Monster Energy drink.
Yeah,
I have to say, we need to work, Micah. We need to work a little more. You know, stretch marks are not definition. We need to get you out to actually have some little more metal. And I'm talking from a guy who's just a monster. So let me just give you a little advice. If you need me to spot you, I've got you.
Yeah, he was coming after me. He made an appearance on Liam's call-in show, and he had the, I guess you could call it wit, to pretend to be somebody called Mecha McWhopper.
Yeah, I like that.
And I was thinking, like, this, why not just go Mecha Whopper? Well, did you not think the joke would land without the Mick part?
They laughed at themselves a lot. He laughed at himself a lot over that. Micah did good. Micah boo boo do good.
Now
but next time, why wouldn't he just sign in as Mecha McCheese? Wouldn't that be funnier?
Yeah, I mean,
or Mecha McSleeves, Micah. Next time, Mecha
McSleeves,
McSleeves, because they're sleeveless.
Right. And,
Mecha McSleeves.
I'm kind of stealing that game too, but I think I'm doing it a little better because I'm somebody who did something with his life other than
you have a definitely a healthier ratio of fat of muscle to fat.
Yeah,
we're still not down in the 5% area. We're still pretty far away from 5%, Mecha.
Yeah. What can I say? I enjoyed lifting to the point that it got to be I think they call it bigorexia.
Yeah.
Which is like anorexia, but you just start eating more, you start lifting more. And, that's kind of why I finally decided to leave the Army. I said, I'm never going to be able to be as big as I want if I have to go on these runs with these bird-chested little officers all the time.
That's right. We're always into the cardio. We who want to be badass, but are technically weak, we always go to running. That's what I do. I run 5 marathons because it's the illusion of being strong, when really you just have incredible endurance, but not any real strength.
Right. You put me in a small room with a terrorist. There's going to be one of us that comes out. I'm going to be carrying his head in my hands.
That's right.
I'm going to have ripped it off. And what is the officer going to do? He's going to run circles around him until they're both tired.
Exactly. Any super marathoner can be in there with him. You still don't know who's going to come out. All I can say is this is why I can never feel like a big man for having run 5 marathons, is on almost every one of my marathons at about mile 20, there's always a obese Mexican woman who's at least 10 years older than me passing me at mile 20. Always. Man, Hispanics there's something they talked about it in Born to Run.
Mm-hmm.
Where running is so much a part of their culture from just day one. Running and running barefoot. They just haul.
Oh yeah.
I'm always
running is definitely an art,
Yeah.
And for me, I still use running, not as much. I put headphones in, I listen to Taylor Swift. I get out there and I dream about somebody loving me as much as she loves the 84 men she's had a serious relationship.
Yeah, dude. She ever falls in love with you, I'll have to come and do an intervention.
Yes.
I'll beat you over the head with a bat, and I'll be doing you a favor.
Oh yeah, she's a lovely person.
She's beautiful on the outside.
Watching Liam streams are like witnessing the slow birth of a consciousness.
Watching Liam stream is like watching the pupil form of gravy.
Yes, and I'm being told to shake it off. Now I got to ask you, Doug. You came in. You saw an opportunity to join CG or something.
Yeah.
And I remember that first night that Ethan had you on. I think you got up to 13,000 on Bigfoot Bill.
Yeah.
And it was,
why didn't you warn me if you were a real man? If you had any principle.
I'll tell you what, I was at work and I had my headphones in and I was just listening. I'm like, who is Doug Tenaple? And then they started saying this Earthworm Jim stuff. And my first impression, and this is just my tinfoil hat conspiracy theory, but my first impression was that Ethan brought you on because he wanted to get Cyberfrog into either a movie or a Netflix thing.
Huh.
That was my first impression. And he kept calling you Hollywood Doug. And I said, this guy wants to get Cyberfrog into other media, probably through one of those things. So that's just tinfoil hatting, and I know you've got.
I think that's a lot of. I never know all. I never know all of the. In fact, I don't know any of the intent of these guys. Right? I can't know. Right. I barely even know my intent. How's that? When I got into CG, I'm like, what the fuck were you thinking?
What is going on here?
I only know that I think I came into it thinking I was less than.
Less than the most humble man.
Less than
eloquent.
Less than the best. Less than capable. Or less than principled. Yeah. And so I went into it thinking I really do need these guys' help.
Yeah.
And they did help to some degree, definitely. But this is where I think it's very hard to step away from all that stuff and say, exactly what are they? What are they doing? They're a giant blob. You can't define them in general with any principle because they defy any principle. They're a blob of guys doing what a blob of guys do. They don't stand for anything consistent. A group, how can a group when everyone believes in something different? Go ahead.
Blob is, I think, the right word to use in this situation.
Well, yeah, I meant figuratively, but it does also apply literally.
It does apply literally. I told Ethan that when I went on a stream the other day. Cecil asked me who I would like to be in a foxhole with, and I said, well, probably Ethan because he's got that 5XL kind of mask that could protect me from shrapnel.
He's a bigger shield.
Yeah, and he seemed to be. I could feel like some tears welling up behind his eyelids. And
yeah, I think all fat people are pretty sad on the inside. So when I make fun of their being fat, I'm really just rooting for them to figure it out and get better. Figure it out and get better, guys.
Yeah, it's possible, Oh, who timed out Cherry? Who timed out Cherry? Somebody timed him out.
I'm just I'm a morbidly obese man trying to get out of this skinny body. I'm dying to I want to just die of obesity. I go and eat half a fridge. And if I go for one little jog, it all drops off. That's my curse for being 6'8", having a high center of balance, for looking anorexic all the time and not being able to pack on weight like you meaty people.
Let's see. We're having some arguments in the chat. Don't time anyone out and abuse your wrench, guys. I'm here for arguments with everybody. And
wrenches are for emergencies.
Yeah, you guys have fun with that. I made Cherry a mod, so you guys time each other out to your heart's content, I suppose.
Yeah,
it's chaos. So that's how you came into this thing called, I guess, Comicsgate, and I've been following it since then. I came into it when Cyberfrog first launched, and I just saw a comic book that was 90s style. I was a big Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles fan, and I was like, good enough for me, And back then, after the election, it was more like everywhere I went, especially on Reddit, it was constant Trump bashing. So to hear Ethan come out there and just be on my side, that was why I got into it. I said, oh, this is cool, and I like comic books to a certain extent, and even more so now.
Yeah,
and now it's become this thing where we have people whose sole purpose is to go out there and defend Ethan on Twitter, and there's this hailing stuff, and there's just all sorts of nonsense. And yesterday it imploded.
Ethan, by the way, is not a big deal. I mean, not a big deal in all this drama. I think he's just a guy and a so-so artist. I actually like the guy a lot more than I like his comics. I think his comics are kind of, I like some of his art, but he's a much more interesting guy than his comics ever were.
Really?
And that's what people are paying for. People are paying for Ethan. All this drama and all this giant war, the reason why all these grown men who should be in the bedroom right now reproducing with their wives and having a family, or going out and being a human shield and letting all these rioters blow their head off in Detroit, or standing up at an abortion clinic to stop black babies from being murdered. Instead, we are all online following who said what to EVS and Cecil and Malin and WC. Bro, if you explain this to mortals, what's their response as you unpack all of this for normal people?
I guess I understand the concept of loyalty. I understand the concept of wanting to be there for your friends. What I can't understand is having never met somebody and calling them all these ridiculous things like human sunbeam and I'm here for Ethan. Like, this is somebody you're buying something from.
Cecil is love.
Cecil is nonsense.
Maybe your definition of love differs from my definition. But
and then he's calling himself the Lord of Light and all this. It's like you almost had a joke, and then you went too far with it.
It was, but it still could be like a giant joke, right? To him.
Yeah.
Does he really sit down and look in the mirror and say, "I am Caesar. I am this human sunbeam"? No,
I don't think.
Of course not.
I
hope not. Or he is a lunatic.
Yeah, there's
Does Rose sit down with his children and talk to them like that? Listen, you mother, with his sunglasses on. No, he doesn't put dildo pics on his own daughter. No, so he shouldn't do it to Bean from PA because that's someone else's daughter. You fuck.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's fuck. Sorry about that.
No, you're fine. We're a cussing channel here. If you want to get it out, Doug, get the let out.
Yeah, to me, and Rose, funny, but what a dummy. Any principle that we have to apply to ourselves and our own before we apply it to the other side. So I would want, if I acted like a criminal, like Tug, I would want another side to come after me. Okay, I would want them to at least just lightly call me names, which is all I've done to Tug, is call him names. I would not want. I don't see what other people have done so wrong. But mostly, isn't this here? It's a humor show, right? I mean, we're laughing. Right? Everyone's laughing. Pro CG's laughing. Anti CG's laughing. Liam is laughing. Rose laughing. The people who aren't laughing are the people that probably civilians and my backers who have been framed as posting child porn by CG, paid for by CG.
Yeah, that was a hell of a thing because I've been through a similar thing. There were some ladies in the Phantom Menace that accused me of saying sexually charged things at them. And what it was somebody stole my avatar from Twitter and created an account called Martin McCheese. And,
yeah.
And all of a sudden I was on the hook for, sexually harassing women. I was an enemy, and half the women in the Phantom Menace, if they were aware with me, blocked me. And that's just as fine with me because I'm a grown man. I'm looking for women near me, being single. I'm not going to go after an internet girlfriend. I've played that song and dance before. That's how I met my ex-wife.
Yeah, you want some reality.
Yeah, I'm not interested in some internet woman. You have to be extremely beautiful and maybe Taylor Swift to get that kind of attention out of me.
Oh, so. Taylor Swift, the next ex Miss Swift is who you'll be.
Yeah.
Hey, did you see? Taylor Swift wrote that song "Enchanted" about Owl City. Adam Young, the musician.
Owl City?
Yeah,
he's
a musician.
Guy?
Yep, Fireflies guy. And Owl City we've been talking to each other on the phone because he's a huge fan of my work. He's going to do, I think, some stuff for Bigfoot Bill for me. So that is the equivalent to, since Taylor Swift was in love with him and he's in love with me, that's like Taylor Swift being in love with me.
Yeah, by proxy. So
I just want to say, sorry, buddy, but she's a little preoccupied.
She is.
With, I'm her grand crush, her great grand crush, and you're not even on the radar, Mecha.
Well, she hasn't seen me yet. I might go to one of her concerts. Wearing this tank top that Micah Curtis could never fill out the same way.
The Micah Curtis. He would call that a moo-moo.
Yeah, he
can't fill it out.
It was so funny. I woke up at 3 a.m. and somebody had DM'd me like, "Oh, they're going live and they're talking whatever." And I tuned in right when Micah Curtis was basically like, "Oh, fuck that guy." Like, I've invited him on and tagged him at least twice to come and talk to me, and he's up there going on Liam Gray's channel to say "fuck this guy" and to impersonate me. Like, what's so scary about me?
And when he goes on Liam's show, that his chat says "kick Micah."
Yeah,
and you're offering him a place of fun and respect on this show. Micah Curtis, get on this show. Get over here.
We're gonna talk, and I'm gonna embarrass you for wearing a dog tag like Ethan.
He wears a dog tag.
Yeah, he had this like American flag shirt, and he had, I think it was a solitary dog tag. And I'm the dog tag police of YouTube. If you're wearing a dog tag and you don't have a DD-214 to back it up, I'm gonna say something because you're appropriating bravery.
Yeah,
dog
tags mean something when they hammer those in a soldier's mouth.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when sometimes people die wearing those, it's not something to, make fun of.
Yeah, but if you got Micah on your show, I would tear the sleeves off whatever shirt I was wearing to identify with you guys. I would show, it would be a gun show of bony old man shoulder.
Yeah, I'm not going to say that I'd invite him on to like yell louder than him. I could use my sergeant voice and direct troops and stuff like that. But what I'd really like to do is just talk to the guy and see what our differences are. Disagree with him as gentlemen. There's not a lot of gentlemanly disagreement. If you can't look at a man that you dislike and say, "Well, I disagree with you, but I'm going to sit here and talk to you with that kind of respect," you're probably not man enough to conduct yourself in a way that you communicate your political feelings and thoughts to anyone on the internet. It's not for you.
I will watch Micah Curtis do anything. I want to see him like read. I want to see him. I'd watch him read the Gettysburg Address because it looks like the Three Stooges reading the Gettysburg Address. 4 score. 7 years ago. I have had this brain. I like when he points to his brain and then he drinks the monster drink.
Yeah, and I see a lot of
dramatic pause.
Or just pause for I don't know what to say, so I'll just sit here and scratch my head for a few minutes.
When he was lecturing Ethan, I was on the floor.
Did you see him pull rank?
He pulled rank. I grabbed my stomach and fell on the floor. That was the greatest moment. And all of them pulling rank on each other. Going like, okay. Listen, Oz, listen. No, how can you say that about Pan?
If you're my friend, if I made $12,000 on Englewood, we're friends now. And speaking of Cuckold and Leroy and all these jokes they made at Preston's expense, this is a guy who's fantasizing about a black man stepping into a role he should be inhabiting.
Yeah.
Well, why is his character, this strapping, black man MMA fighter when Micah Curtis could presumably work out? He's a tough guy. He wears sleeveless shirts. Why isn't he out there fighting crime? He could do a self-insert like that Umbrella Cuck, and go fight crime doing that kind of thing.
Thug.
His girlfriend could probably collect pictures of private parts, and
she could get a lot of backers. And he'd sit there and watch him as his wife is texting Leroy, going, "Send me pictures, Leroy," and Tug's going, "Hold on 1 second. I gotta make a video about Preston." About just how square Yellow Flash is like, yeah, we need to be making more videos about Preston, everybody. This is easy, low hanging. I'm like, wait, you got a Preston right there. Right there, a guy watching his wife texting guys trying to get pictures of their junk.
Why? What is the purpose of all that? We're trying to sell comic books, I think was the original intent.
The purpose of it is to make Comicsgate more awesome. It makes it more awesome. It makes it more the internet fake soap opera.
Yeah, hey, nobody time out Cherry. I like him on the channel. Whatever disagreement.
What's Cherry doing?
I don't know. They're doing that. All right. Zombie wants us to get on topic. So, Doug, let me ask you this: you have experience with Tug in a certain way that a lot of us don't. I've been hearing this story about man, John Wallace. Is that something you would like to talk about? Or is that something maybe
I will briefly talk about it, and it's largely a defensive tug, if anything. You want to hear that? Yeah.
Well, I mean, we're fair to everyone here, but from my understanding, his wife and her catfishing efforts actually succeeded for once, and it kind of backfired on them.
Yeah. I'm confused by a lot of it because I got it all through John Wallace, who is good guy. My heart goes out to him. I love him. But he is like a troubled guy. You know, he struggled a little bit with bisexuality, and he's been on my show a number of times, and he and I communicate with each other a number of times, and then suddenly no communication. Right after War Campaign and CG told everyone what a dirty backstabbing tapeworm I was. A lot of guys over there stopped talking to me, and he was one of them. And then suddenly he texts me out of the blue, "I'm in trouble." I came to a place near your town. I think it was Murfreesboro is where he ended up.
That's where Antonio Bryce is at.
That's right. And Tug lives around there. His town's around there, and my town is around there. So we're all down here, which really Tug and Bryce and I should never be anything near AIDS corpse like Comicsgate. We should be hanging out here having cigars, drinking whiskey, instead of being online in an AIDS corpse like Comicsgate. But John Wallace is down here. He texted me, "I'm in trouble. I'm almost out of money." Tug's wife, and he gave her name. I won't give her name. I don't even care what her name is.
Yeah, Lola, I think it was.
Yeah, she told me she would get me have a place for me to live out here because I need to get out of my hellhole from my hometown, which is up in some other state. And he took a bus down, and when he contacted her to say, "Where am I going to live?" Because she said she had a place lined up with him, she goes, "I'm sorry, that fell through." And then she ghosted him. Like there was no communication with his phone. He couldn't reach out to her. He had no one to reach out to. So he reached out to me. So I said, "Don't worry. I'll take care of you. And I think he reached out to Doug Ernst too.
Yeah. That's a gentleman if I ever met one.
Yeah. Basically, when CG makes a promise, you have to go to non-CG to back it up. So I just told him, I go, "You stay in phone contact with me. We need to get you to the Nashville mission and get you a place to stay," because he was out of money. And the bottom line was, if that didn't work out, I'd have to bring him into my house, which I wasn't comfortable doing.
Right, because you don't really know this guy outside of online.
Yeah, I really don't. Now that I've met him in person, I wouldn't have a problem with that, by the way. I said, "When you land, let me know. When you land at Nashville Mission, you let me know." So he got a bed at Nashville Mission. And the next day he said, "I'm here and I'm traumatized." I said, "I'm coming to pick you up. I'm going to take you to lunch." So I went to the Nashville Mission, picked him up, and took him to the nicest place I could find for lunch. We had some beers and burgers, and I met the guy. What a wonderful guy. That's the thing. When you meet all these people real life, I think everyone would be a lot of fun to hang out with. People just suck and turn into these master spies as soon as they go online and start trying to defend their business and attack customers and fellow creators from across the internet. That brings out the worst. Guys like Pan and Roe, they'd be normal. They'd get along with Tug and Cherry and Rumble and EVS and Nick and SWC. If it was real life, none of this BS would go on. I'm convinced of that. So then he told me the whole story, and he was going off on what's her face, Tug's wife, she betrayed me. She lured me out here, lied to me, she lied to me. And I go, what about Tug? He goes, Tug doesn't know anything about this.
Really?
Now, the first thing I thought is the beloved Miss Tenaple knows if I twitch my head like this, she knows. She's got me locked down. The idea that someone's wife is inviting a guy out to find a place for him to stay and the husband doesn't know anything about it.
Wow.
I just thought, I don't know what kind of relationship they have at all. I don't even know if it's real. I don't know. So
it's hard to reconcile for me if my woman of any caliber involved with me.
Hard to understand.
It's
so in his and her defense, I told John, I go, you trusted people online with your real life, right, and over a text you came out. So he's a little troubled. So I give him a pass. I do think it's a kind of an abuse that they did. They should know better. But for all I know, they're 10 times more with more mental problems than him.
Yeah.
And likely so from what I've seen. So, and so he was traumatized. The Nashville mission, that's a tough place. We've volunteered there a lot. I remember sitting across from a guy at Thanksgiving dinner whom I served and just thought, oh, I'll sit with this bro here, this guy. He stared through the table the whole time. And I said, so, I'm Honky Doug. So what's your story? Tell me your story. What's your name? And he had a Bible. He was staring, had a Bible under his hand and staring through the table while we were eating together. And he goes, I just got out of prison. I was put in at 18. That was 45 years ago. And I went, holy shit.
Jeez.
This was a hull of a man. I don't know what you have to do to get thrown in jail for 45 years.
Yeah.
But this guy was barely human. And my heart, I just realized, like, I don't even have a right. How can I help you? How can I? He said, you can pray for me.
Sherry here says, Doug, do you really think Tug had no idea of Lola and John Wallace talking? I think we kind of talked about that already, but
yeah, I have no way of knowing. So that's my defense of Tug, is I don't know if he knew or not. And I don't know what was going on in his wife's head. It seemed a little callous to not back up something with a guy like John. If he falls into your responsibility or your arms and you don't back it up, that seems pretty callous to me. It sure looked, he was traumatized. And he goes, staying in that, and he goes, I'm afraid for my life. I'm afraid for my life. And I said, can you make it at this mission? Can you make it another night? Because they try and plug you in with a job. And if you work a certain amount of time, they will give you money to help you get on your feet and get out to your own. You live on your own. They want to get you independent. He said, I can try. And then the next night he called and just said, I can't make it. He goes, Doug, this is a horror. The people I'm with, the things I'm seeing, I'm afraid to shower. I'm afraid to even, be at the facility. Those are rough people over there. Yeah. It is the bottom of Tennessee. So I just said, however I can help, let me know. I go, are your parents still around? Can you call a parent and sleep on their couch? Because is it not better to sleep on your mother's couch? I was thinking of the prodigal son. Is it not better to sleep on your mother's couch than sleep at the Nashville mission? He said, yes, it would be better. So I said, let's call your mom. So he called his mom, asked her if he could come back. She said, yes, you can come back on the couch. I said, you can get a job, and then you can get back out. And so I bought him a bus ticket and sent him back home. And then I said, you call me when you get home. So he took a couple of days to get back. He called me when he was back home on the couch. I said, you thank your mom and you tell her you love her every day and you go get a job. And he was out looking for a job. So that was, and we've talked to each other since then. He's very upset at them. I just never felt like it was people's business, but it kept coming up. And I just think that's where all this CG stuff happens is it's all funny. This is a hilarious fake WWF war, but there are real people getting injured and hurt. Being from PA, Matt Mertz, real life, Preston, getting people stalking him at conventions and taking pictures of him, eviscerating his past for a mistake he made 10 years ago or 20 years ago, or whatever it was, just degrading the hell out of people. We don't think it's funny. I don't think it's funny to have a tapeworm comic made about me. I think it's stupid, but it's not funny. And Cecil thinks it's funny until the jokes start going against him or against someone he finds precious, like Star Wars Girl. Then suddenly it's not funny.
Right.
And Ethan, when WC started coming, oh, they crossed a line, creep hole. That's not funny. It's everyone's realizing the jokes are incredibly funny when it's about that guy over there. And it's not very funny when I experience it. That's called effing empathy. You're learning empathy.
Which brings me to the screenshot we have here.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw this because I think both you and I are blocked by EVS, but
yeah. No, I blocked him. So
the mutual blocks. Let's see.
It's implied block, even if it's not blocked.
Yeah. Real quick, Matt C. Yes. Six and Cherry. You guys have the ability to communicate outside of this chat, and apparently you're starting to bother other people in the chat. I appreciate that you're both here. But let's be gentlemen and take it outside. So
take it out to the parking lot, guy. Don't spoil the chat for other people with a big old fight.
Yeah, I made you both wrenches so you can time each other out, or you can take it somewhere else. But appreciate you both being here. All right. Well, hey, Roch, if you don't have a Twitter, I don't know, get a Skype number or something, or just
the moderators. Just to clarify, guys, the moderator's job is to make the chat entertaining for the chat, not conduct an argument.
Right. So, yeah, you guys take it outside or just don't talk to each other for the rest of the show. But let's get back to this Lord Caesar Comics Gatus Caligula, which is supposed to be funny, by the way. Let's see. Sir, there's criticism.
I wonder why their writing in their comics are so shitty when their tweets are so shitty. Can't write a joke. Can't write a sick burn. Magically can't write a comic.
Right. Let's see. So, sir, there's criticism and there's abuse. If you are truly my fan, you see me take and value criticism and even light abuse. What is being done by the troll wing of WC is abuse. If that isn't you doing that, I'm not insulting you. So I got to ask, is this not what Edwin was talking about?
Yep.
Is this not what you're talking about right now?
Yeah.
With this outrageous tapeworm comic, and pretty much everyone else in this community is tired of this shit.
Everyone's tired of it.
And now Caesar sees the light.
Yeah.
Now Comics Gatus Caligulus wants to act like he's above the fray.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
It's EVS. This is the thing is it always seems like what I do to someone else is light abuse, funny light abuse. And then what they do to me crosses a line.
Right.
That's, we always, J.P. Moreland, the great Christian philosopher, one of the greatest minds I've ever read for the last 20 years. He always says, we always relativize other people's absolutes. This is the philosophy of relativism, where what you find an absolute, I relativize as optional. Like you might be going psycho over green politics or over racism or over abortion. And I always relativize it when it's you. But I make it absolute. My politics are always absolute. Like whatever I'm into might be the exact same. I might be into like green politics and be like greenism. It's like the moral absolute. And that's all he's doing there is when the exact same kind of stuff happens to an Edwin, it's a funny light meme. Grow up, get us humor. And then when it happens to me, it's this abuse has to stop. This abuse, these SJWs got to stop this.
Yeah, did you see the Praetorian video I hosted on my channel?
Yeah,
that was Sergeant Davidson, and it was his story on the thing. And I'm seeing now, I'm getting DMs from the audience, and let me see if I can pull it up. Where was it? Even Cecil right now is saying, explain the Praetorian gay op, as they call it. So I think I want to give Sergeant Davidson the credit here. It seems like him coming clean about what he was doing is really shed some light on this, some disinfectant on the whole situation.
Sergeant Davidson has always told me the truth. So he, you know, he's a straight shooter, and I think if he's wrong about something, he'll try to make it right, you know? So I'm just saying in general, you can trust what he says. His goal is the truth, even, by the way, if it proves himself wrong, and even if he has to apologize for it and do a mea culpa. Sergeant Davidson is one of the few guys I've seen do a mea culpa on all of the internet. So,
you know, that's something I'm not seeing out of EVS. He's acknowledging finally that this war campaign business is bad for business, but there's no mea culpa from him. There's no, you know, apology to Mike Miller, no apology to Edwin Boyette, you know, for the horrific memes that they've had.
Yeah.
And it wasn't, to me, it's not just memes. To me, it's the equivalent of internet rape. And before anyone gets crazy at me for that, you're forcing somebody's image into a sexual situation against their will. How is that not the same elements?
It's sexual harassment, but we all look weak for saying it. But I'm just saying, you put a picture of me with a sexual toy plastered on my face, a rainbow one plastered on Mike's face, and him or Roe mounting us, and, you know, in a giant Congo line. That's not funny. I don't think it's funny. I think it's stupid. I think it's mean. I think it is mean spirited. I think it is. It's just it obviously crosses a line, and then you can't stand back from an internet's comic movement and sit there with a straight face and say we're here just to fight the SJWs and promote customer service and all that stuff. Bullshit. Well, what a bunch of caca.
Well, look at Cecil here.
2 years of caca.
He's complaining about this meme in particular. You know, they got Anna sexualized here. They got you know, all this degeneracy, and Cecil's now, I guess you could call it pearl clutching, and he's not. You know, if I wanted to see some like real human development out of this man, he'd say, you know, I'm starting to realize that maybe I shouldn't create a comic book depicting someone I don't like as a tapeworm.
Yeah.
Like where is that part of this equation? It's completely
I think that
missing.
would be mind-blowingly huge of him to do.
Right.
And it's not going to bother me if he makes the comic either. He can make it or not make it, whatever. See, I don't allow him to have that over me. You know, I just don't care. But it would impress me if he made that move. And I don't see Cecil as any. I don't see any of these people, like you said earlier. Nobody is beyond redemption. No one's bigger than the cross.
Matt C, I don't know who timed you out. I'm going to go through after the
Matt
show.
C got timed out.
Matt C is a gentleman, and
he is.
Yeah, and I like his book a lot. So I'm going to find out who timed who out. I'm going to review my moderators, because apparently today is the day where people don't want wrenches on my channel. So
some moderators got a hair trigger.
Yeah. So Matt C, you're always welcome here. And if I see anyone else time out Matt C, I'm an automatic wrench pool. And I feel like a sergeant right now because I'm having to police some children with power.
Yeah.
So
you might have to pull all the wrenches, then redistribute.
Yeah. Yeah. It's absolutely ridiculous. We're here to talk about.
If you can't flush them out, you'll have to flush them out. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's hard to figure out that stuff. You know, then we got, let's see. There's somebody else sent me something.
Well, what do you think? Given that EVS tweet, what do you think of that comment? Has War Campaign changed their tactics in the last 2 years? Are they doing something uniquely bad now that they weren't doing 2 years ago that on principle EVS should have seen or not seen?
No, this is what I've been seeing since just before Edwin had his first. They're just good boys, and I'm going to try to reconcile some differences with them. Because Edwin hosted them. He said, let's talk this out. Some people are getting really uncomfortable with how War Campaign's behaving. I saw it just before that, and I wasn't good with appearing on a live stream yet. You know, and it's been a problem since they pretty much came on the scene. At first, it was kind of funny. They had their little shtick developing, and then I remember before they even come out with Vestige, my main criticism was, why are they getting so much attention? EVS made a clear line between creator and fan, and they seemed to be crossing it back then. And now we're at this point, and here's some more hypocrisy from comic skatist Caligula. Caligula is not a good figure, by the way. That's not somebody you admire after. You dress. He's talking about Mana Sex here, who plays a character named Gina on War Campaign's live streams, and he says you dress and drag and talk about performing fellatio on Row on YouTube, bro. Are you midlife yet, or is it something better coming up for you? And this is in response to Mana Sex insulting Ethan over his hair and midlife crisis, and I think that's a particularly revealing hypocrisy on Ethan's part. This was all fun and games. And now he again, another moment of hypocrisy. You were fine with this Gina stuff and all this, sexual degeneracy, which is really what it is to me. I would never open up a War Campaign stream in front of my father or my mother.
Oh yeah, or any normie, any normal customer, any normal backer, any normal comic fan, any pro. Stan Lee.
Yeah, you'd never have Stan Lee involved in this.
Kirby.
The gentleman, Jack Kirby, an actual war hero.
Yeah.
Or at least participant,
So he's learning something. EVS. He certainly isn't learning leadership. I wish he would, but he's seeing what other he's sensing, but all he's doing is he's reading from my script for the last 2 years. Everyone's script, Edwin's script, Mike Miller's script, George Alexopoulos script, all the people that EVS, Cecil, and Malin were mocking for the last years, saying buck up and get a sense of humor, and this is harmless, and these are small people, and let's get back to no drama. These guys have defended WC for all these years, and now they're coming out and addressing in front of all of us, saying, repeating the exact same things that Edwin said, Mike Miller said. We still, of course, remain the bad guy. We're still the problem with Comicsgate. I'm still the tapeworm that got into people's ears and must be turning all these people. I haven't touched any of this. Did I get into EVS's ear and Cecil and John Malin's ear to turn them against work? Is that my doing? Did the tapeworm worm into someone's head and give him ideas like I gave ideas to Edwin and Mike Miller? Someone's worming into their heads. Who wormed into EVS's head?
Well, brainworms, perhaps.
Who turned him? Yeah. Well, estrogen turned him.
Here's another one. Stop torturing Comicsgate customers and creators for fun, you dipshits. Yeah. You're on your own. That's what we've been saying for 2 years.
Welcome.
Welcome to the club, Caesar.
Welcome.
Little Caesars.
He's starting to sound like anti-CG.
What is this? This bizarro world. I'm flabbergasted.
Yeah. Well, I think all these guys think, look, I've got a bigger audience than all those dummies that I've stomped on for the last 2 years. I can say this with a straight face, and the audience is so dumb they'll never put the pieces together. They'll just follow because I have a bigger megaphone. This is like megaphone abuse.
Yeah, it's the heckler's veto, SJW tactic, where for virtue of the amount of people you have on your side, you're correct, which is not a virtue at all.
Yeah. That's for all of the big channels. All the big channels do that. I don't know how you get around that when you have 100,000 people following you and super chatting you, Mecha, and then suddenly you realize you don't have to conduct a solid argument or make a point to win people over, because that's not the way you win people over. You just make fun of them and let your giant megaphone fire hose spray them and win the argument and shame them off of Twitter and out of comic creation.
Well, that's what Tug heard from Michael Oxmall was like, do you think being louder than me makes you correct? And really, Tug had no rebuttal to that, because that's all he has right now. He has 80,000 YouTube subscribers and one of the worst looking indie comic books of all time, according to me. And that's my opinion.
But I don't blame Tug. I blame his followers. Tug's not stupid. His followers are stupid. And Tug's not immoral. His followers fund his wife's fishing schemes. His followers CG pays Ethan and John Malin and Cecil and War Campaign. CG funds the biggest SJW tactics in all of comics history. CG backers fund it. All you guys do it. You're what's funny.
Yeah.
Look at Doug. He's attacking the consumer. Yeah. Well, when the consumer funds hatred and sexual abuse, and being from what's been done to Being from PA, what's been done to Fan Advocacy Network. I would not do that to my worst enemy. I wouldn't do to Fan Advocacy Network. I wouldn't do that to Hitler. I couldn't live with myself and tell that kind of just a blatant lie that was flippantly blown off by Liam the Gray. You know better, Liam. Micah Curtis, you know better, Micah Curtis. Andrew Huerta, you know better, guys.
Stop torturing. Stop torturing people you're interacting with online. Do you think it's torture? Is that fair to say?
Well, it's mental abuse. I mean, we all sign up for it when you get on Twitter to mental abuse, but I do consider like what happened to like Edwin and Mike Miller. It was a form of mental abuse. And then if they stayed to listen to it, it was like self-mental abuse that they would read that stuff over and over again. It's gross. What's happening is disgusting. It has nothing to do with comics. This is a weirdo internet cult. Weirdos.
Really, what is
worth laughing at? CG is worth laughing at. WC was campaign is worth laughing hysterically at.
And I think that's kind of what we're here for this morning. We're taking a little bit of a victory lap.
Yeah.
And not only for, pettiness sake, but as a reminder that we can look back on that this was a problem. And as soon as we just kind of let them to their own devices, there was no business virtue. There was no, moral against the SJWs that really could have saved their movement, when really it just came down to they had fun mocking people in a chicken shit manner.
Yeah.
And that became their undoing. It took a long time, but even somebody is so far up his own ass like Ethan Van Sciver was able to see the light, protecting that Star Wars girl and the Jack Show people. And I got to say, I want to give a lot of credit to Anna. She drew something so horrible, so lacking of any kind of talent or virtue that she destroyed War Campaign for us. Who would have thought?
I'd like to thank Anna. And by the way, I think you're being a little hard on that Vampirel thing. I look at it and I go, normal, good. It raised $50,000. Who am I to say if they want a cartoony picture of Vampirella? It's hard to judge taste, right? If that's someone's taste, that's someone's taste. You can't go in and say,
no accounting for it.
It does seem a little more about a YouTube fandom, which is what's going on right now.
Yeah.
In crowdfunding. She's an influencer.
She's got, the big audience. Black Daddy, I think that's our first War Campaign visitor. Thanks for coming by, man. We're here to take a victory lap on the fall of War Campaign. So if you got
Was campaign.
If you got anything insightful you want to add, please let us know. And we're just kind of reviewing the whole thing, talking about the torture and stuff.
We are cheering the burning flotilla that is Comicsgate. What did I do to burn Comicsgate to the ground? I left it alone for 2 years. That's all I had to do. I just walked off and did comics. That's all I had to do, to just nuke it.
Yeah, I was really surprised this morning when you sent me a message. I go, Doug wants to talk about this for once.
That's right.
Just blew me away.
That's right. You're one of the few. Because you're wise counsel. Hey, I got to go fix my other internet because Mr. Phillips is here to fill some orders. So I'll be right
absolutely. You got anything going on today that we could tune into?
I never plan this stuff, so probably unless I'm going to be drawing online, I probably won't do anything. But I'll be sure and give you an invite if I do something.
Yeah, and make sure you tune in for I Kind of Believe tonight.
What time?
I think we're going to be doing it somewhere between 4 and 6 p.m. It always fluctuates, but I'll send you the link when we do go live.
Yeah, do 4 to 6 p.m. because I kind of believe in Bigfoot, kinda.
Yeah, and I think we're doing it on Vickyverse's channel, so that should be fun. She's got
cute. We like Vickyverse.
Covered.
Another just abused customer of mine by Comicsgate. Funded by joining
me this morning, Doug. It's always a pleasure, and you had some really cool things to say. And thanks again. I'm honored that you were here.
It's my pleasure. I'm going to jump. God bless you guys.
All righty. Thanks a lot, Doug. We'll see you soon.
I'll click the link if I need to come back in, but I
free.
I gotta go fix the other internet.
You got it. Thanks a lot, Doug.
Back Bigfoot Bill too.
Back Bigfoot Bill. All right. So guys, let me address right now the muting and stuff. The only muting that's going to happen on this channel is anything that could harm the channel. So if you got a disagreement with somebody, either don't talk about it or take it outside of the chat room. We're here to talk about what's going on in CG this morning. That being said, I'm going to bring on another guest, and after I get him going for a little bit, because he has some things he wants to say, I'm going to open up the floor to everybody. So let me pull him up here. But yeah, and thanks to Doug again for coming on. I wasn't expecting him, but that's been pretty cool. So let me see what else is going on in the chat. Fly Fox Pro, you cannot mute Matt C for being a better artist than you. I got to bail. All right, Skinny, I hope we'll see you on I Kind of Believe tonight. Follow me on Twitter. Promise that you'll always be able to find me because I'm always going to be talking truth. Dynamite is not CG. It's a mainstream company. Anyways, just listening. Well, thanks for being here. Appreciate you. I know I've had my differences with War Campaign, and today's a little petty, and mostly going to hear people out who want to, kind of do the victory lap on here. I'm sure Doug will be on the channel again very soon, but he had some really interesting insight, and I'm sure we'll have him back again. Dynamite is not CG, but Ethan trying to fold them in as if everyone wants an affirmative part of CG is laughable. So, yeah. And if anyone got timed out and they felt it was in error, tensions are high right now. So I apologize. I don't want anyone muted here that's just talking. So, again. Right now I'm going to bring on, it looks like his name is Park Ranger. I've been exchanging a few DMs with him here and there, and we're going to get his insight and his story. So, Park Ranger, thanks for coming on the show. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning, everybody. How's everybody doing?
Doing great, man. We've just exchanged a few DMs here and there, and you kind of came to me with you had some stuff you wanted to share. So just if you wouldn't mind introducing yourself, not only to me, but the audience. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, as I explained to you, I've been following this Comicsgate thing for about 2 years as a customer. I did back Ethan's book, which, as most people know, took almost a year to get. So,
I had a similar experience.
I think it was about January I received mine. I don't know about you.
Last week actually.
Blood Honey?
Yeah. I originally ordered the Chromium. I got that on time in a timely manner, and then I promised myself I'd just keep that in the bag because I thought it would get worth something. The eBay price.
Right.
I don't really care anymore, but I ordered a team up cover, so I figured I'd just read that one. And I actually had to email and super chat the guy to get it. And the first email didn't get through. I sent him another one. He finally responded, and Andrea got me my copy out in a really timely manner. And I was really satisfied with that. So, it took me a long time, and I've lost interest in it since then. But it looks like the art's good, and I'm definitely seeing the fluting issues. But anyway, that's not the point of the show today.
Yeah, the point's Comicsgate, which honestly I kind of wish that you would have made it a little bit of an open panel with Tenaple, but I understand you guys are kind of friends and such right now. So
yeah, I've only been on a stream with him a couple times, and I didn't. He wanted to come on, and I figured he'd probably have a lot to say, and I'm sure he said he'd come back in if he needed to. So maybe we'll get lucky.
Well, you've been around since the campaign started back 2 years ago, correct?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I guess I'll ask you the same question, see if you got the same gist of what I want to ask Tenaple, because he was there too when this all started. Was it not the sole purpose of Comicsgate, from at least from Ethan's point, from what I was hearing, that their whole objective was to become independent creators that would take on the big two and hopefully destroy the big two? Because that's what I was getting at when I heard him say that 2 years ago.
Yeah, it was all that kind of stuff, It's whatever it was back then. It's obviously morphed, transformed, and mutated. It's something completely different. When I was in the chats, watching Ethan stream, I think it was right around the time Coco the Gorilla died, which I remember super chatting him about because Ethan was kind of this goofy guy that you could talk about anything with, and he was doing the stealing a Soy Wars Sawyery video.
Yeah, Jeff Hicks' comic. I actually know Jeff Hicks, by the way.
Oh no, actually, that's in reference to the Solo movie that came out.
Oh, my bad. I thought we were talking about the comic.
Well, yeah, that's a little bit after, but yeah, I was super chatting with my real name, and I was a big fan, man. It was exciting, and he was charismatic, and a big part of the appeal was he was somebody that wasn't going to bash Trump and was actually kind of friendly to him, which I couldn't get in a lot of places outside of Reddit. Just not a lot of people like Trump.
Yeah, social media is it's a complete crap show when it comes to trying to express your opinions, or at least have one, which apparently is a no-go, especially with Comicsgate's getting that way too now. It seems like, you go against the narrative, everybody just turns against you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So so that's kind of where it started. So how do you feel? No, Ceiling Shallow, as far as I know, has not been shipped yet. We're looking at Christmas in July, because Jeff did say it would be after the holidays.
That's going to be a 2-year campaign right there.
Yeah, and I feel sorry for anyone that bought it, and I simultaneously don't.
And it's a digital comic that he's been, well, it's not a digital comic. He's going to the printer room, but all the work is done digitally, so it's not like Jeff Hicks isn't on his computer like 24/7.
Right. Yeah, here's something I've been saying recently. We did the Spinner Rack show the other day, and long live the big two. I'm never going to give up Cyberfrog for Batman, Spider-Man, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I'm sorry, I'm going to stay a supporter of the big two as long as they're offering product, because those characters I grew up with, they mean something to me that these indie comics never will.
Well, I mean, yeah, they're stapletons to the community that have been around for almost 80 plus years. Like, you can't just sit here and act like they're not going to exist far beyond something you started 2 years ago. Or I should say 20, because Cyberfrog came out in 1997, but didn't really make a household name until Ethan started doing his YouTube show.
Mm-hmm. And it was a fun show, But let me ask you this. So we're now at the point where Caesar himself is saying, stop torturing customers. And one point I'd like to make is Comicsgate sells itself on respect for the customer, because we weren't getting it out of the big two. Here's the part that they're missing that I feel. If you can't sell a comic book to somebody today, you could probably sell a comic book to somebody tomorrow. So it's not only the customers you have to have respect for, it's the potential customers.
Yeah, I agree with that sentiment. I mean, this is another thing that I feel that, you stated that Ethan is a Republican. He shares his values with Donald Trump, everything like that.
Yeah.
I get that in a whole sense. But as a viable person who is trying to make a movement, he's run about it the wrong way, because you have to be apolitical with these things. You can't sit here and segregate customer support with any bias. And that's another thing I kind of wanted to ask Tanepo if he was here, and I don't know if he's watching, but he can watch later.
Yeah.
But, remember, I think it was about a year ago when this whole thing went on about Ethan kind of rainbow flag in the Comicsgate all caps ago. And I think that came up to a big beef, which kind of was like the last straw between Tanepo and Van Sciver. And Ethan's whole motto now for the past, I want to say, good 6 months has been hot dog sales, right? Like, we're just hot dog salesmen. We make it any way we want to. We want to have a hot dog. You get in the way. And my thought is that when you say things like that, so when your customer is a Muslim and you slap a gay rapper on his hot dog, what does that say?
Well, you have to be accepting of the gays. And there's no customer that would walk to that hot dog stand and say, well, now
we're trying to say that Comicsgate's for everyone.
Right.
I mean, you could say, even a Christian bias, even a Jewish bias. I mean, you can't just say that we're going to slap a logo on something and say that we're going to segregate one community when you're supposed to say it's for everyone. That's the whole purpose of being apolitical with a stance in a movement.
Thanks again, Doug. There he is in the chat. And if anyone times out Doug, I'll find you personally and fix your mod privileges. Let's see. Yeah, there's there's an argument for keeping politics completely out of it, and then, well, how do you motivate a story without some kind of political element to it? And it's tricky, you know. I guess with War Campaign, the analogy I've been going to recently is, let's say Ethan was the manager of a McDonald's, or even the owner, and you know he's got a group of fans. You know, the War Campaign, they come in and hang out at his McDonald's, and he loves them. He loves their patronage. They buy his burgers a lot. So it's good that they're there. The second that the other customers who are just there to get a hamburger or a comic book in this case, the second that they feel uncomfortable by War Campaign, what should Ethan do as the manager or owner of that McDonald's? Do you let one group of customers make the other uncomfortable?
Well, I think in a legal standpoint, it all goes back to, are they doing something wrong that would be immoral in front of...
let's say War Campaign ran over to somebody's to-go order and they threw a dildo in the bag. And they said, oh, you didn't have a great enough praise for the guy making your hamburger. Here's a dildo. Thanks for coming.
That's harassment.
Yeah, which is what these memes equate to in this analogy.
I mean, no shirt, no shoes, no service. You know, I mean, we could equate to whatever you do inside of a business, but you know, when you start doing such things of that nature, you're going to lose support.
Yeah, absolutely. And if one customer has an argument with another customer, where does the creator weigh in? Do they weigh in? Are they fostering
the same as a cop would? You're both in trouble and you're both going to jail until we figure it out.
Right. Yeah. It's sad that it's got to this point, you know. It's
you know, this is why, you know, when it comes down to arguments, you know, you can't, outside looking in, you can't sit here and say that both parties have a side. No, both parties are wrong to a certain degree, because you're going to have two different parties who are going to agree with both parties. So if you just try to figure out where you stand as a person, then I think that's where you need to be. And I think Ethan's came to that realization that he needs to be on his own with that, but I'm not sure where he's going with that at all. I think that's just kind of like a deflation in some aspects, because it just seems like, you know, he's never going to get rid of Cecil or Malin, just as much as he might not get rid of War Campaign, because, you know, we've heard him say that he's going to get rid of War Campaign if he has to, but I'm just sitting here like, well, you've known about them. You know there's been a problem. But you're just trying to make friends with everybody. I mean, there's sometimes you can't do that. This is business. And in business, there are no such thing as friends. There's only money and how much prosper you get with that money, and how much business you can make from revenue and customers, and how much your customers mean to you.
That's a good point. I think the line on that note really got blurred with calling themselves War Campaign. Oh, well, Park Ranger, you got your wish.
Hello, Mr. Tenable.
I'm back.
Hey, you came back.
For a little bit.
Yeah.
Something struck a nerve.
Let's see. I think Park Ranger, you had something you wanted to address to Doug. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, Tenable, when you were part of Comicsgate, what was the whole thing that Ethan tried to sell you to make you join?
It wasn't he tried to sell me. It's I reached out to him. It's,
okay.
This really goes into, this is a, you know, a giant soap opera in and of itself. So I apologize, but my career I was in fear. Because, and that's my biggest thing, is everything I talk about in defense of what I was doing is always a giant mea culpa. Like, now I realize, never fear. But my career, I was afraid, because I had 10 books published on Image, I think 6 or more on Scholastic. And I would watch during Pride Month, all of my publishers putting out the giant rainbow, you know, avatar. And I go, oh man, I see where this is going. I oppose gay marriage. And this could really, the only people being canceled by SJWs largely first oppose gay marriage. is the bellwether. I know there's lots of people on both sides of that issue. I'm not talking about that at all. I'm only saying the number one, the reason why Steven Crowder gets canceled, why people just automatically get dinged on YouTube, Twitter, etc., is if you oppose that rainbow. And the rainbow is a politicized, it is a formal Marxist institution. The actual rainbow movement is what I'm talking about, not gays who I have on my show all the time, or trans people, or Preston ex-BDSM stars. I don't hate these people, and I'm not at war with these people. But the movement itself, as cancel culture, you'll never find an SJW that supports straight marriage, that opposes gay marriage. You'll never find. That's the number one canary in the coal mine for that issue. And Comicsgate was always just ignorant of that fact, that they never saw the rainbow's problem, because they're all liberals. They're all like new to conservatism. Cecil doesn't know. Ethan doesn't know. Malin didn't know. Malin was calling Mike Miller a homophobe while they were both still in Comicsgate. He was using SJW vocabulary on Mike Miller. So I saw my career at one point, it would come to a close over that, because I don't think those publishers could publish me for forever, given where the politics were going. They both still publish me. They're both still SJW companies, totally publishing me. So big thanks to them for being big, But I was afraid, and so when I saw Ethan hit probably about 250K was when I reached out to him. And I just thought he was a normal guy.
You would hope.
I thought he was normal.
Nothing about this has been normal.
Yeah, I go, oh, look at this guy. He looks like kind of a, he seems like a blue collar guy. He seems like one of the guys. And this Cecil guy, he seems funny. And then I knew Edwin Boyette was a hardcore Christian, and I've known Mike Miller for years, probably for 10 years. And I reached out to Ethan. I don't remember where it was, but I think it might have been on Facebook. And I gave him my phone number. I said, I want to talk to you about Comicsgate. Do you think there's a place there where I could crowdfund a character? I'm the creator of Earthworm Jim. He goes, dude, call me. He called me, gave me a great motivational speech. Doug, you should be making big money in comics. You come up with something, and we'll definitely run it through Comicsgate. I'll have you on my show. We'll talk it up. It was all above board, all normal. And I don't think he had any evil intention at all with that conversation. I think it was pretty straight up. And I pitched him Bigfoot Bill. I go, I'm thinking I don't have the rights to Earthworm Jim. That would be a year later that those rights came about. And I go, I don't have the book rights to Earthworm Jim. I go, but I'm thinking of this character, Bigfoot Bill, that I once pitched as a TV show to DreamWorks, and they turned it down. He goes, that would be great. And as I set up my campaign, I showed him the campaign. I go, what do you think of this? And he would give me notes on the campaign. Like, you put in big letters, the creator of Earthworm Jim, which that's the thing that he always taught me. If there's anything great that I gained from CG, it was kind of the shameless self-promotion aspect of it that I was always uncomfortable just going like, it seemed like such a loser for me to say, I'm the creator of Earthworm Jim. Like I had to apologize for it. Ethan goes, no, you shout that. And so that was the first thing I did. Bigfoot Bill from the creator of Earthworm Jim. And I just really was learning kind of the template that he and Miller and Richard were doing. And I had already done successful Kickstarter campaigns. I had already followed Polito's career. I had followed my buddy Jason Brubaker, walked me through the nuts and bolts of Kickstarter before. So I already knew I had $115,000 on my first Kickstarter. So I could get the six figures, no problem. It was really the getting it above that CG opened my eyes to. So I went in thinking, this is going to work. And I did Bigfoot Bill, and Ethan pitched the hell out of it. I was hanging with these guys. Within the first couple of days, I knew none of these guys are conservative. This is not a conservative movement. I came out of the Tea Party and I came out of all these other movements. This is not a conservative movement.
Oh, Everett Todd asked, Doug, CigarCon 2021 still a go?
Ooh, well, we're having CigarCon 2020. If you come to California the last 2 weeks of July, you hit me up and we'll have cigars.
Well, there you go.
I'll be there.
Can you smoke through the face mask?
Yeah. No, most cigar shops don't make you wear a face mask. It's where Brian Scher and I would hang out for the last probably 5-10 years of Comic-Con. We just go to a cigar store and avoid the crowds anyways. And we have a pint and a cigar. Always great vets are in there. Great guys are in there. And that's where the real Comic-Con is, where we go. So come join us if you're there in July. I'll have a mini con, and then of course in 2020 we will continue that.
And speaking of joining, we have Horatius Kokels join the stream. How are you this morning?
I'm good, guys. How are you? Can you hear me all right?
Yeah.
Hey, Horatius.
Are you sure you're not Liam Gray?
I am positive. We share the same country of origin, but I'm definitely not orange.
But little else. We're
Liam
racist.
has too much Irish blood in him.
We're racist, so you all sound the same to us.
Yeah. So we got Doug here. We're talking about we're trying to take it a victory lap on CG and as it were, not the TM that Preston set up, CG and was campaign. Campaign.
Not the real CG that Preston has, but the other CG.
I'm looking at a fire sale as a customer standpoint.
Fire sale. That's an interesting.
Oh yeah, I mean, as a person who owns Cyberfrog, I'm just sitting here like, maybe I should go on eBay and start doing a sale. Like this is a bad stock.
Dump it. Did you? Let me ask you, as a consumer, and you got that in the mail and you paid for it. Did you enjoy the book?
Well,
forget. Take all the CG out of it and just read it. Did you enjoy it?
Considering the fact that originally he was supposed to have, I think it was like 40 more pages in it, I felt like the ending because I read it, and by the ending, I got to like a cliffhanger. And I'm just like, I'm not satisfied because I think the whole pitch is like, is this how every book's going to end? It's going to be like, yeah, okay, so here's part 2. Here's the cliffhanger. Okay. So what now? You got to wait a year to get part 3. Well, that's okay. Like, I would rather just have one whole book tell me the story about one specific story and then move on to the second book of that story.
But no one can really impugn his art credentials, or the color in it is good.
Well, I mean, his colors is great. I'm not going to sit there and bash his colors. Colors does phenomenal work to his art.
Yeah.
But his penciling, things like that, like, he takes a lot of time. He's a perfectionist from what he says he is. And I think that impedes a lot of his work ethics to get something out there.
Yeah, I'd rather he have half the detail and double the pages.
Yes, like I don't need to see 3,000 windows in a building that's about 300 meters away.
Yeah. Well, that brings up the biggest problem with that model that I didn't understand how it would work is, we're used to buying 24 pages every month, or every other month at the most. And the idea that you're going to put out a 48 page every 18 months I don't know how you can't sustain an audience on story.
How do you maintain an interest that long?
You have to have a YouTube channel.
I think that's the reason why, I don't know are you talking with Mitch with Red Rooster at all, Doug?
I haven't talked to him much. We've had scant back and forths over the last, since I left CG.
Yeah, well, you need to tell him that if you ever do talk to him, you need to tell him that he needs to have his his books in a better place, because my Walmart, their magazine section is by the restroom section, and his comics are literally at the front of the customer service restrooms.
Yeah. His model, we'll see if it works, because his model is kind of, look, we're going to blow these out to big bad Walmart. I don't know if people go to Walmart for indie comics.
No.
So
that's
the only bad part of his business model, is kind of the culture of Walmart. I don't know how indie comics they are, but we'll see if they sell. You'll know. because Walmart does not keep standees in their, they sell their shelf space by the inch.
Yeah.
You pay by the inch, and it either turns over money or you're out of there. I don't care if you're Disney. They will move your product off the shelf if it doesn't.
They have a little subsection in the front of the cash register, like where you find all the baseball
Magic
cards,
the Gathering cards, and all that.
Yeah. And they have stacks of, I think, pre-released Marvel that are just like 5 of them for like, I forget, $20.
Yeah,
they just sit there. No one touches them.
Huh. Well, they would move them out if no one touched them for long. Walmart is famous for just rotating stock. So that's why I'm saying is Mitch's model, you'll know in a year if it works or not. And I'm not rooting for or against that. I'm only saying it's just a fact the way that Walmart works. Is if it sells, it stays. And if it doesn't, it goes.
Crowdfunding comics is the way to go. But with how everybody's doing it with this drama and with this whole thing where it's almost taken a year for people to get into their hands.
Yeah.
That's the problem, because you're going to have someone buy it at $35. Sure, you're going to get rich, but someone's going to forget about your material.
Yeah. And everything I say about Mitch is constrained, probably similar to Mark Pellegrini, who's there. Tim's talking about it. We're constrained by an NDA. Because I was offered the same deal in Mitch's company as Ethan was, or a similar deal. And so I can't talk about the nuts and bolts of his business. What I say about Walmart is public knowledge.
Yeah, of course. I understand about non-disclosure agreements.
Let's see. Horatius, you had something to say?
Yeah, I just wanted to thank Doug for 2 of the best crowdfunded comics I've ever received.
Thank you, sir.
And I'd just like to address one of the main criticisms out there that exists around the original Bigfoot Bill campaign.
Sure.
I notice a lot of comic skaters out there talk about how, well, they claim that, you ripped a bunch of people off because the making of the Bigfoot Bill add-on was underprinted.
That's right.
And that you
by
didn't
106 bucks short.
Yeah, well, I was actually one of the people who didn't receive that book. And I'd just like to go on the record and say right now that you did contact me and offer me a refund, which I declined due to being international.
And I appreciate that.
And I know you lost money on the postage. So
it was a ripoff. And I apologize to my backers for that, for what you had to go through. It really, I don't know what else to do. Sketch Therapy said I had to reprint that thing, which
that's why I just like to come on and just set the record straight as a backer of that campaign that missed out when there's those rumors floating out there around there. That's completely
of those
untrue.
106 people, about half caved and did not ask for a refund. About half did ask for a refund. The refund was partial. It was not just a full 100%, the book, the shipping, the everything. And that was a move I did that in hindsight, I probably should have just given everyone a full refund. If I was in the mode that I'm in now, I would have done that. And I think any of those 106 backers that says, I want you to send me a free Bigfoot Bill 1, which has about 30 pages of the making of, reprinted in the back. It's now a beautiful 160-page edition. Once the book is done, I'm going to reach out to that tier of people, of international people who got ripped off, whether they ask for a refund or not. I'm going to offer them all the book and I'll mail it to them as how I'm going to make it right at my cost. I mean, that's for me. You don't have to pay more for that. I'll send it to you free, international shipping, because I've made enough now on Earthworm Jim to cover it. But I should have done that first time out. So
that's fine.
You guys were all really cool about it. It was purely a moment that War Campaign and anyone who wanted an opportunity to kick me, it was a legit place to kick me. But the way that they did it, as if I did something worse than a book being 18 months late, or selling a book in Walmart before I delivered to my customers, or just flat out didn't sell it at all. I think it was pretty a normal mistake for a first time international backer like that. I didn't know what to do with that. Was a problem. I came out and go, holy crap, I just screwed the pooch. So,
no, that's why I kind of wanted to jump on just to let everyone know and set the record straight, because I've noticed a lot of
I owe you an
people out there
apology.
saying,
I owe you an apology, which I apologize
that's fine.
for. I feel like I owe you a book.
No, that's all right. I got the email and I got a nice little note in my package, and I ordered 2 copies, one of which did come with the making of, so I'm not really that bothered.
Cool.
But
well, for the one
noticed,
that you didn't get, I gotta make that right with that tier. It was one or 2 tiers that I went out and just said, I'm okay. If I don't deliver on these 2 tiers, I'll send them the Bigfoot Bill 1 book, but I won't be able to send them the making of. I will send them a partial refund if they want one. About half the people asked for one, and I had 3 people that were pissed and sent me mail, and one of them was Sketch Therapy, and he sent me about 150 emails. So.
Just that sounds like Sketch.
God bless him.
So would you send that updated book to Sketch even now, Doug?
Absolutely. And he even already had a book sent to him by Ben Hennessy, and I'll still offer that to everyone. It's just going to go out to everyone who backed that tier. It'll just be a blind message out to all of them. If you want it, you just send me an email and we'll send you a book.
There you go.
Well, the only reason I jumped on was because, I see a lot of people lying about that whole situation, saying that you didn't contact anyone for refunds, but I'm saying as one of those people that you did contact me for a refund, so that's a straight up lie. You did do everything.
That's right. That's right. And I always knew that was a lie, but you can't fight the entire internet. When some guy has a channel of 130,000 people, or War Campaign has 3,000 people, and they all have 15 puppet accounts, you're not going to ever straighten out the internet on the truth. When people want to believe whatever about their enemy, whatever they want to do about their when I'm opposition of the day, people choose to believe what they want. And this is my warning to anti-CG too, is the principle must apply to us before it applies to the other side. So you make sure you're not doing that. You're not believing the worst fact about your opposition just because they're over there.
Well, or
you're doing to them what they did to me.
I still backed Earthworm Jim twice and backed Bigfoot Bill twice, so you didn't lose a customer with me. But that's all I came on to talk about and say. So I'll jump out now and let you guys get back to it.
I appreciate that, sir. I hope to keep getting you great books for a long time. I'm going to send you some goods. Bigfoot Bill 2 is going to be good.
Thanks for coming.
I'm looking forward to it, mate.
Yep.
No worries.
So I'll straighten all that out once I get the book printed and ready to go. I will make that offer to all of my Bigfoot Bill 1 backers.
That's not a problem, Doug.
Tiers. Yep.
I'll see you guys later.
Thanks, man.
All right, take it easy, man.
Anon Corona says, Doug, did you just label as anti-CG?
I am neither CG nor anti-CG. I'm Doug Knaple. Mother Scratcher.
That's what I've been saying. That's what I've been saying. I think what's Ethan's CG is really anti-comics at this point.
It's an SJW movement.
It is.
Well, the most funded SJW movement in comics.
I think I have another question. I have another question. So, Doug, since this whole thing has stopped with you and Ethan, have you experienced channel growth?
Yeah.
So, okay. So, like,
my channel grows. It grows slowly. Oh, so slowly. But it grows. Yeah.
Well, you're on a channel right now with 150 subs.
Well, yeah, I know that. But
if anyone here who is enjoying this entertainment has a soul, you'll throw the link out on your social media and try to get Mecha Macheese some subs. We're going to
go as long as the conversation's interesting, and we're going to. This is the town hall.
That's how social media works.
Mm-hmm. My point was that because I've been noticing Ethan's been stagnating on sub count.
Yeah.
And with at one point.
And with that, I'm seeing the same thing I was seeing with the Phantom Menace side. How it's just, because, there was a lot of smaller channels. And, when you're having a smaller channel that's struggling, you got a bigger channel that's using their sub counts to boost another channel. So then it's basically the same subs, but on another channel.
It's the same subs.
It's not a growth. And I'm seeing that. I'm seeing that with EVS doing that with people like Fragaboom and such like that. I'm just like, Are you trying to make your channel bigger so you have a bigger audience, or are you just trying to make people pay for the same thing twice with new people you're inviting in?
I have a different model than the guys that are chasing clicks, and you'll see the guys that are chasing clicks. It's all the big ones are chasing super chats and clicks. And if that's your goal, then there's certain things that you put in your title, and there's certain topics that you cover that drive subs and drive they're how you build your channel. I don't do that. For me, I'm a YouTuber second and a comic creator first. So YouTube exists as a secondary thing. If I'm drawing, I'll turn on the camera. If I want to hang with my friends, I'll turn on the camera. But if I wanted to really drive my growth, I would put in Comicsgate in every, title and say, beat Comicsgate into the ground, or Comicsgate is controversial. And you see guys trying to grow their channel that way. Usually, in my case, even it works if I put that in there. I just don't want to fool myself into being a YouTube as a priority. It is how I market my books and how I really teach my audience to put more value in what I do. I'm like, look, this is how the books are made. And this guy's a fellow comic, a crowdfunder. And I always talk to them about their struggle. Like, what's it like, to do this? I'm trying to kind of teach everyone how hard it is, how fun it is, how hard it is, the inner workings of inking a page, lettering it, driving views to your campaign and stuff like that is what my channel lives for. But these guys, there's huge overlap. When I'm on Nick Rekieta's show and I see the chat and I read who's in it, it's the same audience as the anti-Kick Vic audience, and a lot of comic skaters are in there. A lot of war campaigners are in there, and you just see them all saying the same thing about me. So,
yeah.
And we have Cassidy Blonde joining us today. Did you have some thoughts you wanted to share?
Oh, I kind of wanted to sort of explain how, during the whole, I was never kind of a pro CG person or whatever you want to call it. I was kind of excited. I was like, yeah, we're gonna get a lot of comics made, and then it's over time things were okay, what's going on? My friend made a joke one time. He got kicked out of this. It's okay, what's going on? And it's 8-hour streams. Then it's I don't see them moving their hands at all. And it's are they actually making comics? Then of course someone brought up the term outrage merchant. I'm like, yeah, these guys are just 8-hour streams talking about stuff they hate, and not I don't know. It's and then everyone just keeps copying them.
Yeah.
And it's
well, it works.
Yeah.
It worked for Tug. Worked.
I think they should just transfer to a shock jock radio programming kind of thing.
But it just seems like it's just not about the music, It's not about making comics. And it's last year, basically, I didn't do I did try to do the YouTube thing, but it's I was too concerned with getting my 4 comics done in 1 year. That took a while because I commissioned 4 separate artists at the exact same time. And now they're done. And I had to split them up, and I got 2 issues on Kindle and stuff. But
good move. You got a lot of work to do. You're a hard worker.
Yeah, you got a gorilla book?
Yep, I got a gorilla book, a big blue gorilla.
Oh, it's not purple?
Nah, it's blue. I'll show you. Let me screen share.
Let me ask you this, Cassidy Blonde. Have you ever thought about putting your gorilla character in Smash Brothers Ultimate?
Oh, it would be so great if I could get him into
on the floor.
If I could get Captain Blue Bedlam into a video game. It would be so awesome and sweet. It's I would really think about researching about getting into a game like a old style pixel game or whatever.
Yeah.
And it'd be kind of you have to do these routes, and you have to choose I'm just trying to look up the file for the 44-page one. So I'm developing the 44-page one, which it's being masterfully done by an artist on my Twitter. Let me look for Okay, yeah. So let me screen share.
Oh, you got a screen share for us. Okay.
Yeah. Let me look.
You got to throw that on the show.
Let's see.
All right. So here is what the color will look right now for this one page. Basically, this is for the 44-page one.
It's nice.
It's got to get redone because the artist redid the shine, but it's like I just think it's beautiful. However it looks, you know, this is what the black and white version looks to.
Well, that looks good too.
Yeah, this is like I really like working with this artist because he actually calls me, talks, and I like lettering all of it myself, you know. And then this page here, this page was done wonderful. I can't wait to see this in color.
It's a good looking book, man.
It's mind blowing.
I think that's a perfect character for Smash Brothers. Now, did you just come on here to pitch your book, or did you want to talk about this was campaign business? He left.
Probably just came on to pitch his book.
He sees Doug Tenaple, he takes a chance.
All right,
I think he was trying to shut down his share screen, so just click the link to get back in. He was trying to.
You come
there
back,
you go.
Cassidy?
He's back.
Did you come on here to pitch, or did you have something to add to the controversy here?
Well, I kind of think it's like mostly everyone is just into the whole like, oh, you're not CG, you're not this CG, and it's like, how about just calm down and just start working on your books and stop like just following false idols and all that crap. And it's like, but it's like most people, they're drinking the Kool-Aid and it's impossible to get through that. And it's like I've been through so many troll accounts, man. It's so bad.
Yeah.
You can't get your head out of the drama if you keep checking in on your Twitter and who's saying what for and against. I've blocked out all for CG and I only have anti, and it still gets in your head.
Oh.
It demands that you start thinking that way and caring about this tiny backwater battle on the internet that really no one at Comic-Con's heard of. Most pros don't even know what it means or what it's about. They can't. So I'm just saying it's you're gaslighting yourself. And really we just need to get, if you're a comic artist or a writer, especially, or a creator, you got to get to work and just put that work out there and rely on the work to tell the story and do a little social media to promote yourself. And the bad news is it's a lot slower than the shortcuts offered by Comicsgate. It's just slower, but it's legit.
Oh yeah, definitely. Because it's like sometimes Twitter will suppress some of your tweets that are like from outside links. I'm like, oh crap, does that mean all those like Indiegogos and stuff that was like thrown out there are just like being deleted, like the Thanos snap? It's like that, and it's like, wow, how dare you? Also, Matt, I assumed you were bald, but you're not.
He's very close. Matt's very close.
I have a massive forehead, which does kind of contribute to that.
Well,
yeah. 2/3 bald. How about that?
With the most comic creators I find, a lot of them are bald.
It's the high testosterone. It's
well,
it's
like
really,
mods, if you want to time out Matt C, good luck from here.
Yeah, right.
Free Matt C.
Matt C.
Team Matt C. Team Matt C.
Matt C. and Skinny, welcome to the show. Do you want to pitch at Doug Tenaple, or do you want to talk about the controversy?
Oh no, I'm not here to pitch, man.
Okay, you got Otis Stein coming out. We're gonna do a 24-hour stream promoting that thing. It's a
We'll
book about a dead guy.
comes.
It's a book about a dead guy, and me and Skinny are gonna kill ourselves trying to promote it, so we kind of commune with the character at some point.
I'm gonna drink so much liquor on that day.
Okay, yeah. And Matt C, what? How about you? You got something to pitch, or do you want to talk about the controversy? How do you feel about Was campaign?
Oh, I thought we were just here to talk about hot dogs. I guess.
Hot dogs.
I guess we don't. I guess we don't. Well, I have a better hot take, and that's I mean, I got a lot of anti-CG and war campaign that came down my neck a few months ago for pointing this out, but now everyone seems fine with it. I don't think. I think the hot dog cart idea is kind of a red herring. I think everyone knows. I think EVS knows. I think Doug knows. I think everybody knows that you are kind of a vendor for two different products. You do have your YouTube thing, and that's completely fine. Doug loves putting on a show. He's been saying that for 3 years. So does EVS. So that's one product that you put out every day. Give people taco, you know, to taco stand, and then you talk up the hot dog that you're spending a year making. I think that's a very valuable. Maybe you don't like the flavor, you know, of the taco, but people learn to trust you. I think it's a very human approach to learn to establish kind of a
Robo-Matt.
Robo-Matt.
Oh, Monica is attacking.
He's getting abducted.
Oh crap!
Cylon Raider, the Galactica.
No.
It was a horror game.
Well, I'll tell you on
Any
the
better?
social media thing, if I could sell books without doing any social media, I would. I'd get off at 100% and just sit here and draw all day. I love putting on a show. If someone's going to put a gun to my head and give me a
come on,
microphone, I'm going to do a microphone. But if I could do the Mike Mignola route and just sit in my studio and just sell books without doing a show, I would turn the camera off forever.
One of my artists is a big fan of like Hellboy. He like drew like after he finally showed me the pages, it looked awesome. Just want to say that.
I am the biggest Hellboy and Mike Mignola fan.
I did, although, like Amazing Screw-On Head more and wished that could have been a bigger series.
Yeah, I've got that book somewhere around here. Where's my Screw-On Head?
And guys, I put the link in the chat. This is Town Hall mode. I'm sure Doug wants to talk about things. So if you're going to pitch your book to him, maybe you find him somewhere else. Unless Doug wants to hear it, but you know, it's
I don't mind hearing pitches, but you're going to hear feedback, and you may not like it.
Well, there you go, guys.
Oh,
That's being an artist right there. Take your criticism and then run it.
I love getting criticism.
The reason for the season this morning is we're talking the Was campaign, getting some thoughts out on that. Let me go to Skinny. What do you think about this whole thing with EVS and the stuff going on?
Shit, I saw this shit coming 2 years ago, man. Like, legit, I was at a point where I was, you know, speaking out on this stuff while both Edwin and Mike were still, you know, kind of oblivious to the whole thing.
Yeah.
Like
we were all willfully oblivious.
Yeah. I was
one of those, like CG might still work, you know, so
I was one of the weirdos who was sending them DMs being like, you know, these guys are doing some really shady shit. Look out. You know, they're doing stuff like crap went down with Pope Fire for a while. And that was crazy. And I ended up just walking away from it all and then just started publishing my own stuff. But it's just insane that some people go this long without just looking at the clear obvious.
What do you mean? What do you mean clear and obvious? Just the stuff that anybody should have been able to see.
Man, it doesn't take a genius to figure out. Like with the past 2 years of clear behavior from, you know, any side, you know who the bad guys are. I mean, there's only one group of individuals putting dicks on people's faces. There's only one group of individuals who are plotting that and encouraging it. And then you have the rest of the rational world, which is like, you know, stop putting dicks on people. Stop with the gay out.
Was that so unreasonable?
What's that?
Was it so unreasonable a request?
Apparently so. We live in some bizarro world where when you tell somebody to stop putting dicks on people's faces, they act like, you know, you're stepping on their First Amendment right or some shit.
It is a value split, though, of the kind of people that are okay with that and do think it's funny. And the kind of people
if you think it's funny, you can go around and put dicks on your own face.
Yeah, they'd never do that. So apparently it's not funny when they do it to themselves.
Yeah.
So
go ahead.
So Doug, did you see the clip that We're Paying campaign posted on Ethan?
I did not.
Which one? There's a million out there.
It was the one where they're making a joke with it. It's the one with the TNT bomb on the front of it. It came out I want to say about 2 hours ago.
Yeah, this is a moving story right now.
But it was from his live stream this morning around, I think it was like around 8, which I watched some of it, but he said these words about like Comicsgate's a gatekeeping community and such things like that now, and I'm just like, I thought you guys weren't.
Well, yeah, if you remember, there's this controversy, and it was like 2 years ago, where Ethan said he wanted to gatekeep Comicsgate. And that's when, like, I think Doug Ernst, they had that big stream with, like, Doug Ernst. I think maybe even Captain Frugal was there at the time. And they were all going to have a sit down because everything was misconstrued and yada, yada, yada. It was stupid.
I think but doesn't he have a right to gatekeep it when it's largely his?
Well, that's what I'm trying to figure out. It's Comicsgate a brand or is it a movement? Because he keeps misconstruing which is which.
Yeah, he always said it's a movement and it's a brand. It's a brand that calls itself a movement. That's how it markets itself. But it has always been a brand. It's always been his brand. Not always been. He got it because the other guys that thought it was a movement, guys like Richard Meyer and Doug Ernst and Edwin,
say to them, be careful.
That wasn't EVS coming onto the show.
We probably shouldn't be doing.
I was gonna go grab the broom.
I was about to grab my cross and say the devil will see her, man.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm Boomer. Let's see. There's a clip somebody sent me once to add to the conversation with. Let's see what Ethan has to say.
The one that,
I would say to them, be careful. Be careful around that guy, Roe. Even if he means well, Remember when Roe, on a live stream, just randomly told people, you want to talk about whether or not Roe doxes? Remember when Roe just randomly told everybody on the live stream your court date? Anybody could have found you. See, it's that kind of a mistake. It's that kind of a mistake that makes you think that, like, the guy is a little bit, he's not really he's not really somebody to be trusted. Don't trust that dude with information. That's what I'm saying. Not saying he doxes. I'm just saying shit happens like that. I would say.
What do you guys think of that, huh?
Hey, can I just step in because I gotta run back in the office.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think this is a great example of how even up until last weekend, people on this show were saying EVS was secretly the mastermind, emperor, master gatekeeper of War Campaign, and that's clearly not the case. I didn't think it was the case.
I've said for years that
it was an allegiance.
Roe is the alpha.
Yeah. So, and that's clear now, I think. And there were a lot of people who were saying that they had information to prove that EVS was really the secret black hand behind everything. But I think that's obviously not the case now. So I think we do kind of have to reassess. People need to kind of rethink who they're getting their information from. I know that's pretty controversial, but if you're holding CG to standards, War Campaign to standards, you got to hold yourself to those same standards. And if people are feeding you stuff just because it's spicy and it gets clicks, I see that on all sides. I've seen it for 3 years on all sides, and it's still here. So,
how do you feel about the DM leaks from Praetorian now?
Well, that's clearly that's demonstrable
behavior privately.
I think it's been framed to look like he was the mastermind, and really he was just kind of laughing at their antics and DMs, right? That's all it was. It was exactly what it looked like. Not that he was orchestrating anything, but he was just kind of chuckling at stuff as they sent it to him.
He was going with the flow.
Yeah. Which is kind of a letdown. I think it makes people, when you really hate someone, you want them to be more powerful to give you more room to hate them, I guess. But I don't know. Just something to think about anyway. And Doug's right. Like, a lot of these people, a lot of us would get along if we were hanging out in real life. And I guess I just wish people were treating each other that way on Twitter as well as off, instead of just rolling their eyes and saying, "Hey, that's Twitter. It's not real life."
So you don't think there's
pretend
any
it is
reason,
real life.
So you don't think there's any reason to take somebody's image and force it into a dildo meme?
Oh, well, that's a whole different. I don't know. That's a whole different thing. I've never done that. I don't think it's good. A lot of, I think most of Comicsgate didn't like it, and they were saying as such. I think one of your mods blocked me months ago because I pointed out that what's his name? Sweetcast said it was a dumb idea back in early 2019 to be doing that stuff. John Malin said it was a dumb idea several times, but we don't want to hear it because they're on the wrong team.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, the truth is
anyway.
the truth, no matter who says it.
Yeah. I know Doug knows that, but
yep.
I just wanted to say it. Go ahead and refund me, but we're all
everyone back. Kyrie is it Kiri or Kyrie? Kiri.
I say Kyrie, but so long as you know how to spell it,
I know you should have picked a better title, man. I'll be on you for that forever. Where's that available at, Matt C?
Yeah, we got book 2 on Indiegogo. We're working things out with the printer right now. The pages are already done. It's Kyrie Exiles and Wasteland. You can check it out. It's just
go to Indiegogo
pages.
and plug in KYRIE. It's a great book, great looking book.
Yeah,
I backed it, and Matt told me he was going to put me in the book, actually. So I'm looking forward to that.
Well, I said I was going to draw you on the front page.
Oh, okay. Whatever it ends
which is
up
original
happening.
art. That's better.
Yeah, that's good, man. And then I could be the villain for your next issue after that.
Okay, yeah, but that was back when you were wearing the princess.
Oh,
crown,
the princess, the power crown,
the tiara.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I have that actually. I'll go get it in a second. But Thanks, Matt C. And I'm looking forward to reading that. And if you're gonna go, how would you like to be kicked off the stream?
How about mid sentence, like while I'm just in the middle of talk.
Oh wow,
so good.
Thanks, Matt C, for coming on.
He knows how to exit, man.
So, Doug, I got a question for you. Put yourself in the place of EVS. Say you have this raging personal fan base who you kind of see that they're going nuts on certain people. How do you approach that? Like, if you were in his shoes.
You think on your feet, which he's good at. I think he'll be fine.
No, I'm not. I'm just saying, like, how would you handle that situation? Like, if you had to do things, if you were in charge and you were in his shoes, what would you do differently?
If I were him, I would make a pretty big public statement saying, look, all this drama has gone out of hands. This isn't about comics anymore. I want this place to be fun and have comics. And if I can't handle myself online, I'll just be silent for a little bit and see if I can work out a new image and a new tack, to take. But everybody, back books that you like, and then it would be, and I apologize to anyone who I've caused, where my drama has caused some kind of suffering or pain. That's something I think we all would say.
Yeah, empathy, which
I
think we touched on this. We touched on this earlier, that there's been a notable absence of that in the camp. Fly Fox Pro, how are you today?
What's up? I'm doing good. I'm actually off today, so I worked like every day this week, pretty much like 12 plus hours. So
did you come to pitch Doug? Or did you?
I did, Doug. I've got an awesome pitch for a cartoon. It's called Project Geeker, and I'm sure it's going to be a huge success on the CBS network.
Yeah, given how the first season of Project Geeker went, no.
Oh, is that a project of yours, Doug? I don't think I'm familiar with it.
Yeah, I did a show on CBS, one of my biggest payouts, where I co-created with Doug Langdale, who's a pretty famous writer in Hollywood animation, and we did a show called Project Geeker.
Didn't that have the dinosaur?
Had the yep. Noah the dinosaur had his hat on backwards, and Cree Summer did a voice. The dinosaur was done by Brad Garrett.
Oh, that's so awesome.
It was a great show.
Billy West Geeker.
Billy West was Geeker. Yep, who did Ren and Stimpy and
Fry from Futurama.
That's right, Fry from Futurama. Yep. John.
It just came too late in that 90s period of animation, I think.
It's just sometimes my stuff is too obscure for its own good, or too creative, or too odd for its own good. Sometimes I ring the bell a little too far out there, and the big media just wants more Transformers.
What about GoBots?
So
Trash. Transformers trash. GoBots trash.
Hate Watch Radio has a suggestion. He says Netflix doc on Ethan and the war campaign. Do you think they could pitch that as a follow-up to Tiger King at this point? Yeah. the Comics King.
Yeah. Or their other series, Black Drag Queen.
Wait, call it Frog King.
Frog King.
Was campaign is now Black Drag Queen.
I will say this kind of behavior extends. It's not just like within comics.
Yeah.
There's this kind of crap going on in like the writers industry as well, like with novels and whatnot. I know Kevin Strange is experiencing a ton of mayhem right now.
Yep.
Like this crap's everywhere, man.
It's anonymous tweet chaos is hitting everybody. And everybody's kind of half sick of it, and everybody's also half fascinated by watching drama happen and pain happen to other people. So if you're getting off on the pain that's coming to Ethan, the only thing I find funny about it is that there should be some amazing empathy coming from them, because now they're experiencing what a lot of other people have experienced. I think that's great. I don't think it's not good for comics. I'll tell you that much. All this drama that comes out in a giant CG and anti-CG war and war campaigns garbage, it puts a giant wet blanket on all of crowdfunding. Like when people say crowdfunding comics, I don't want them to think about CG or anti-CG. I want them to think about great comics like Comic-Con days and Kirby days, and if their mind starts going to a giant internet war where people are being doxxed and having dildos plastered on their heads, and people having to do giant public apologies for failures and stuff like that, that's bad for all of our business comes into question.
Park Ranger, you wanted to show us something?
Yeah, sorry about that. I was trying to get it up for you guys and kind of got.
Are you
I didn't have it
Robert
ready,
Muldoon?
but then
Are you
Yes,
Robert Muldoon
man.
from the first
Yeah,
Jurassic
yeah.
Park?
Love Robert Muldoon.
Clever girl.
Clever girls.
All right. Hopefully, you guys can hear the audio of this.
All right. Okay, so we got a dynamite here.
All right.
No sound. Mark Wade.
No sound.
Nah.
It looked like the little volume thing was
No
turned
sound.
all the way down on to the right of the
I turned
video.
it all the way up. Let me see
Okay.
if you can hear it now. Can you hear it now?
Nope. You gotta remove your screen, and then there's a little box you click.
Give me 1 second. All right.
Holding up the show, brother.
I know.
It wouldn't be a boomer cast if it didn't have technical
That's right.
difficulties.
I could be a boomer in my 30s.
Yeah, right.
If this was a boomer show, we wouldn't be seeing any of this like at all. It'd be like,
what is this, Gertrude?
It'd be the Lorenzo Sleestack stream.
Oh, is Lorenzo back here? Oh,
No,
goodness.
All right. I think I'm ready.
Good.
Hopefully, you guys can hear it.
Yeah. Nothing.
Can everybody hear it?
Nope.
No?
Nothing. It looks funny though.
It does. That's some good. That's
You guys
some
can't
real.
hear it. It's weird. I clicked share audios. There's something else I need to hit.
That's some Lord of the Rings tier effects graphics.
How would you like to be removed from the stream?
Mid sentence.
No. All right. Well, why don't you just explain it to us about kicking you off?
All right. Well, okay. Hang on. I'll just.
We kind of get the idea. He's done with Dynamite, Mark Wade, Gail Simone.
He's talking about Dynamite Comics and how it's politically neutral.
Uh-huh. Politically neutral, yep.
And he's saying how Dynamite Comics is working with Comicsgate, and of course they will.
But the images imply that they're all, because they're also publishing Gail Simone and Mark Waid.
And they're saying, there's Poe's basically saying that because Ether's saying this is what he's been looking for. He's been wanting someone to promote and print his comics. And he's saying that War Campaign's trying to shut down Dynamite because basically they're not an independent source. They're just they're like working against Ethan, is what they're saying.
So this was so you think maybe War Campaign got a little too close to the money and had to be removed for that aspect of it?
Well, he's saying everything's been about the whole time. Everything's been about the money for that side. It's the reason why they got rid of Doug. It's the reason why they got rid of Mike. The whole time, it has been completely about what is best for the pocketbook. And right now, Ethan's had a successful second campaign, and he doesn't need Water Closet to screw that up for him. So it's better to jettison him now because he's proved he doesn't need them. And we all thought, or maybe some people hoped, I didn't, but some people hoped that Ethan would experience failure this time. I'm not saying any of you, but some people did, and he proved that he didn't.
Quarter Pounder
the quality
did.
of the book aside, the quality.
Yeah, and hats off to him. Bottom line, if it's just about money, then hats off to him for kicking Earthworm Jim's ass with his raise. That's a huge. That'll blow everyone's eyes open and go, wow.
Oh.
Yeah, because the second Cyberfrog makes more than Earthworm Jim, that means Earthworm Jim didn't make any money, according to Ethan.
Yeah. No, I'm very happy with my winnings, and I'm sure he's very happy with his. But it is true what Fly Fox said, is that all of the problem with CG is it all goes south when money is the only indicator of success. If you do anything for that and you go, but I made money. And to every artist out there, it's like, well, but I made money.
That's almost like I was louder than you, so
right.
I'm right, like we saw with that umbrella cuck.
And so
this is what I tweeted at him. I mean, if you see right here, I'm just like, so you want the cabal that kicked you out to notice you? Yeah. And, with a non-partisan on the matter, I agree with War Campaign because, like I said, I thought the original statement with Comicsgate was to take down the big two as independent comic creators. Not in the sense that Big Two is going to go away. I can't never justify that.
Yeah.
But I'm saying in the market that you're taking away their customer base because they can't satisfy somebody, and you're taking them and bringing them to something new. Because ultimately, that's how you hurt a company. Is basically you make something that everybody likes, and then those people stop buying from a creator because it's crap right now.
But Park Ranger, what do you think would be Comicsgate's position if promoting DC and Marvel made them hundreds of $1,000s? Would they flip positions?
Well, they're already doing it with Dynamite, apparently.
Right. So I'm only saying, as soon as you think it's something about something besides the actual money raised for people to pay their rent, pay their families, and buy cars and stuff like that, as soon as you say that, I thought we were okay with giving an alternate to DC and Marvel. If they made their money by promoting DC and Marvel, they'd flip positions like that.
Well, isn't that kind of like the same argument that a couple of years ago about people were trying to do with, I think, what was it, Captain America versus Superman in a comic book? I mean, is that where this is going, where Ethan might sell Cyberfrog out for one comic book where he's versing somebody on DC or Marvel one time?
Well, like the Vampirella?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Any position they take, they would take the opposite position if it made money. Because if your bottom line is about how much money something makes, and that's the problem with serving money instead of having some other principle that is also mitigating the money. So that's why you'll find them on two sides of any issue. They'll say, never disrespect a customer, except for when I deliver a book 18 months late. It's not disrespecting a customer because look at how much I made. Or Doug's ripping off customers by selling them a big giant box. But when I make a big giant box, look at how much money I made. So any principle, you'll find two sides of it. And that's the problem with CG is it will only make sense if you realize it is there to exist, to pump money out of backers and treat them like pay pigs.
You got people buying comic books from somebody based on emotional appeals.
Yeah.
I still got my box, by the way. That thing is awesome.
My box is kick-ass, and I paid for those.
It didn't cost me $200 either.
It's because I love. I have a blast. I am obsessively love making comics, and then I love secondarily to get a great big reward for making those comics by having people read them and love them and enjoy the product that they receive. I think I have more of a symbiotic relationship. And if you look at the backers when they open up their boxes, you can't. That's not a lie. That's truth. When you see no one has a higher customer satisfaction than my books.
But I would not recommend putting the Earthworm Jim stickers on your car. Sadly, mine did not survive.
Those are cheap stickers, man.
Yeah, I was kind of just hoping for it because I was like, I got to put them on something.
Now, the Bigfoot Bill stickers that I'm getting, allegedly from the sticker manufacturer, says it is a vinyl that is made where the color should hold fast in sunlight. They're actually made to go on your car.
Ooh, I'm excited about that.
And the stickers cost as much as a patch. That's how expensive they are to get the kind of quality stickers I'm getting for Bigfoot Bill too. I'm sending out 3 vinyl decals that should hold fast in the sun. If they don't, let me know.
Speaking of fans, Gotham Knight here is a pretty big fan of yours, Doug. He really wanted to come on and just say hello.
Oh, cool. I love Gotham Knight too. I appreciate him.
Mute this man. Mute him.
Mute this man.
Michael Oxmall, is that you?
Here.
I'm working on the railroad.
You're out of your mind.
It's the choo-choo.
You sound just like him.
Gotham Knight, are you Michael Oxmall? Did you go after Tug on
I kind of believe that.
I kind of believe.
I'm not a crook. I'm not a crook. I told you.
But you are homosexual, correct?
Well, that's the rumor.
And mute this man.
Mute this man.
Oh my God, he's such a
Wow. I cannot get away from Michael Oxmall. And if you don't know the joke on that, it's Mike Oxmall. Just say it fast enough is not something any man wants to do.
Wow. We finally
Choo-choo.
figured out who Choo-Choo was.
Right.
So
Gotham Knight.
So you think.
Gotham Knight.
Yes.
Richard Oxmall, whatever your name is. You have anything to weigh in on the controversy? I know you had
Richard Oxmall.
Now it's totally gone blank. Thank you.
Do you have a history with Tug you want to talk about in relation to all this today? That umbrella Tug?
In the words of Khan, let him eat static.
Is that a Star Trek reference?
Yeah.
What is? I've never watched Star Trek.
It's from the Wrath of Khan. Star Trek.
Oh, you know what I just noticed? We got Mecha McDugbeam on.
Yeah.
You just now noticed that?
Mecha McDugbeam.
Watch it now. I might have to make accounts to start popping up randomly, dude.
You know, I kind of took it after Mecha Godzilla, one of the greatest kaiju of all time, really. So
knockoff. He's like Godzilla, but he can't move as well.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know, man. Mecha to me looks like Randy Savage to me.
Me?
Man. Like Macho Man.
Yeah.
Yeah. The glasses nails it, man. You just need the cowboy hat.
There's
about Mecha Christ Dan.
Oh. Yeah, we're everyone is Mike Oxmall, I think, at this point. Doug,
yeah, pretty much.
Wait. So basically, everybody is V for Vendetta. Okay.
Yeah. Gotham. Fly Fox Pro wanted to come in and finish off a thought. Gotham. How do you want to be kicked off the screen?
It don't matter.
How about I do it like you're my mother in Australia, and I'll uppercut you.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
All right, so I'm back. So
You
my
got a green
thought,
screen.
yeah, I do.
Wow, he does have a green screen.
That's
You're not gonna
only
get that kind of production value on my channel.
I only set that up so I don't have to clean my living room. You know, of all the toys and everything that are thrown everywhere.
I like everyone using a green screen but leaving it green.
Right.
That's the best move of all.
That's pure laziness. That's like
No,
care.
pure laziness is having a picture of gold bars, but they're upside down.
Yeah.
Is that Dan Friga?
Yeah, that was Fraga.
He's got to figure that out, I think.
I'm stealing his bit about kicking people off like he does, so I'll give him a pass.
I was watching his stream too. I'm like, you know, Ethan has like 1,500 people who watch him, and I'm looking at Frag, and he's only got like 181. I'm like, where is this comic skate love, man? 6 people on your stream, and you got only 181 at 12 o'clock at night.
Well, that's part of the myth, isn't it? That it's really going to branch over between these people. That's not how it works.
It's a spigot. They turn it on and it goes. If you're on EVS's channel, that last night on his channel, Bigfoot Bill 1 raised like $30,000. Like he can turn that fire hose on.
So like,
don't people have bills to pay during this pandemic time?
Oh, and I just want to point out that Violetta Says Here has a mailbox at the whim of a choo-choo train.
Mm.
You always have to pay the bear.
Damn mailbox.
You always got to pay the bills.
Damn mailbox getting hit by Mike Oxmall's railroad train.
Renfamous came to my house and knocked over my mailbox. I can't believe it.
I thought she'd go get out of her house for fast food, much less, travel however far it is to Dallas or whatever.
She came to my state, to Tennessee, and knocked over my mailbox. And then people buy my comic.
Jeez.
We got some alleged stuff going on. So, floor's yours, Flyfox. Sorry.
All right. So I was talking about the money earlier, and I think that's the thing that people need to keep in mind is that Ethan is not an idiot, and I think most of his decisions that he makes are about how he thinks he can make the most money at this point in time. It's why he still has a relationship with Dynamite after trashing all the other bigs, even though Dynamite does the same types of things that he was criticizing others for. It's because he's smart enough to know that the future he needs to prepare for the future, because this well will run dry. It will. These people will not stick around through just natural attrition and through pissing people off. His audience will diminish, and it might get to the point where he has where the better choice for him will be to go and work somewhere else. And so why not keep a relationship with a publisher who's going to be able to help him in the future?
But if the ends justify the means and you lose audience share, but you still raise 8 big ones, who cares?
Well, yeah, but
that's the best kind of punishment to face.
But that won't last either, because what you get is you get whales, and the whales will stay. But then the majority
as long as the whales
audience,
stay, he's fine. Whales stay, he's fine.
But the whales aren't going to be able to produce that much money for that long.
Oh, they do.
I don't think they will.
Oh no, they do, son. I think his model is going to expand.
I hope not, man, because that's just going to destroy everybody else.
He's going to expand it the same way his waistline is.
Yeah. It actually doesn't have to destroy everybody else. That's where Ethan chooses to also target other people. He could move on in peace with the whales paying him big money and just letting other comics creators be.
But that's why they stick around. That's why those whales stick around. It's because of the antics that he does. They think it's funny, or they're into that kind of drama, and so that
he can cycle in new people and bigger whales to compensate for a loss of the smaller comic fans.
But don't you think
I'm only saying
I never predicted
I never predicted that his money would run out. Given what I know of human nature, I assume it will keep expanding.
We got Zippy the Unicorn in the chat. He's calling us nerds and dorks. So if anyone would like to time him out, that would be appropriate. Just
Zippy the Unicorn, you knocked over your own mailbox in space.
Yeah, that's why he had to flee. He didn't want all the super chats coming at him and crushing him under the weight of a bad comic book.
He's a mysterious unicorn from space.
He is. He's good horse.
He's coming on your show, right?
I think he is making an appearance on I Kind of Believe tonight.
Oh, cool. Actually. He's an authority.
This is what I get every time when Ethan says he makes a bad decision. Every time.
I have low IQ. Well, I think
he even says it on live stream. Every time. It's like the Alex Jones cop out. It's like, I'm kind of retarded. Why do you say things?
Well, he says things so he can get money.
Yeah, a huge show. Huge show.
But the thing is, after hearing that he doesn't write a script for his comics and just continues on, I think, and also the whole perfectionist, it's like, so if you've ever created comics, you understand the pain of waiting for comic pages after you've commissioned an artist. You understand that if you add in so much detail, like with my scripts, it's like, draw what you can, draw what you want, and do the lines. Just show me the rough draft first. I'll look it over to say, okay, just move this pineapple head here and other stuff like there, It's just, but don't do like a whole bunch of isosceles triangles, or just say like, oh, here's the obscure character from Kolchak the Night Stalker from episode 5 that was recently on Netflix, but my friend shut off Netflix because of it. It's like, screw you if you want me to draw that.
I think anyone that's seen the comic that I drew for Skinny shouldn't worry about me putting too much detail in my art.
The thing,
dude, that was awesome, man. I love that little short.
You got to go for presentation. You got to go for shorthand. Kind of like Jack Kirby, right? Jack Kirby was like, screw anatomy. I'm just drawing it from here. I'm just doing it here. And you can understand that, you can see that you can notice what a Jack Kirby drawing looks like. You know, big square jaw, and like, but also you got to try tricks in your comic storytelling that's easy. Like mind control is one, or like invisibility is one, because then you can just have a character where he's like getting hit with like random images or something like that, as in like boom, pow. Or like Batman, where it's like, the Mad Hatter. He basically has a card you can draw on somebody's hat or something. Or Clayface. Clayface, I think, is probably the best villain, because you can draw him up to be whatever,
Just make a blob.
Yeah. Or
anatomy optional.
Yeah, and it's like, you can also do stuff like, for my Gorilla Galaxy comic, I made this thing up called Dimension Pockets, where you can pull out anything from, like, kind of like similar to Hammer Space in cartoons, where they can grab anything out of there. Like, the thing is, you gotta find tricks that can help it to be easy for the artist.
That sounds like the backpack from the New Warriors comic. Everyone.
That comic, man. Yeah. The Trolling Marvels comic, man. That's what it's called, the Trolling Marvels.
If you're having an emotional reaction to that comic, you might want to stop reading comic books, maybe.
Well, it's not. It's like, they could have done it so much better. Like, they named a character Safe Face. Yeah, I know. They could have made it better. They could have called him Bodyguard, right? Bodyguard, where he has to, when he protects someone, a bodyguard like force field comes around. And Snowflake, oh my god, call her Cold Wave, or call her something else. Don't reevaluate your life when you call a character Snowflake and Safe Space. People are going to rip on you for that.
Muttman has a great topic here.
Yeah. Do you guys think that people are more into following comics creators than they are comic stories? It seems that great comics are going unappreciated while YouTubers are setting the stage.
I agree with that 100%.
100%.
This whole thing is built around that. It's cult of personality.
Case. Yeah. Is it fair to say that Ethan has a cult of personality?
Yeah, definitely, man. He basically dresses up like Willy Wonka. Everyone memes it.
But there has to be an audience there to show up. So he's got the audience's number, and that's kind of my thing. Is when you're more into a movement than the thing itself is another big thing that brings me pause, because I'm not here. I don't want a movement, the Doug TenNapel movement. I want you to love my books and my work. I thought that's what we were here for.
No Duggalos then.
No Duggalos. I never was as enamored with Stan Lee, who the person is, what he voted for, what he believed, than I was about his company and his work. And the same thing with Kirby and Mike Mignola. Or Sean Gordon Murphy or Bill Watterson. I care a lot less about what they believe and who they voted for and what they funded than what's sitting on the page and what it does to me. And so it's weird in all this crowdfunding comics to see not a lot of comic fandom going on, of people wondering, marveling at story or art. They're more marveling at how good is your YouTube channel. So that's just a different product. That's just a different discipline than what we're into. And so I also try to train my audience into what's great about story and art and all that. And I write my scripts online. I'm trying to help educate them on what the value is in the story and trying to increase the value of what I send them. But largely, if you look at my YouTube channel, I mean, 700 people care. I'm not the best YouTube talent.
Me either. I had the chat eating each other up earlier, and that seems to have gone away, thankfully. But
good. Thanks, guys. Thanks to the chat.
Yeah,
I've seen so many great-looking books not get funded at all, not even meet their goal.
Yeah, which one really upsets me is what was it? Of Time and Space, Larry Holder. Did anyone see that?
Yeah.
That looked like, to me, like Ralph McQuarrie sat down and said, "I'm going to make a whole comic book."
Yeah.
Or
Larry Holder is amazing.
Noster's book recently didn't fund either.
Yeah.
Which you would think.
He's
put out books. He's got Stardust and Trixie Kane. I wonder if that's hold up from the Brutus, because Don Valet still hasn't shipped that damn book out.
Yeah. I think it's the law of diminishing returns, and then it's fatigue. It's how we're 2 years into this. There's an economic downturn of massive proportions. There's even before then there was fatigue, and so now going forward, you're going to see people that have committed audiences or are putting out high quality stuff like Tim Lim and Mark. Those guys are going to keep doing well because they produce. Same with Doug. I mean, Mike Miller is late on his book, but he's put out everything he said he would. And I think that those guys will survive, but it might be less. And I don't think that should be something to be afraid of, because if you just look for that initial surge of popularity and the newness of it and base everything on that, then you're not taking into account what happens with just business in general, then quote unquote movements or things like this, where eventually you're going to see a decline. And then you have to find a balance where you're maintaining an audience through hard work, or through, in Ethan's case, through maintaining that cult of personality, however he does it.
Yeah. Well, I'm trying to make a book that people, a non-member of my audience would walk by and enjoy. Like at Comic-Con or at a booth or in a store or whatever, if they would walk by one of my books and open it up and give it a read, my hope is they would buy it based on its merit. No one buys Comicsgate books based on merit, with perhaps the exception of some of the really great artists like Dan Fragg or something. But overall, they're not buying Tug's book because it's a great story and with great art. They're not buying most of these books because of the actual great storytelling. And Richard Meyer, I think his art is greatly improving now, but the first books, they're not buying them because he was known for being a great writer. It's his show.
Here's the thing I gotta say about it is that when he mentioned the words, I didn't have to make a good comic book, I lost kind of like all the respect for him as a writer.
But he was telling the truth. He does not have to make a good comic book.
Yeah,
Richard Meyer does not have to make a good comic book.
I found Iron Sights to be kind of half-assed, but okay.
I have to make a good comic book. Richard Meyer does not have to make a good comic book.
Yeah, but it's like, then of course it's not he's not a good writer or anything at all, because it's like he's not when you set out to make your story or comic, you should aim to make you should aim for making a good story. You don't revel in mediocrity, or else you're just an Ellsworth Toohey that's basically like, ooh, I'm just gonna do all this, and it's like, geez, it's like what else? What example are you setting for everybody else who wants to make comics when you're just like, oh, I get by just because people like that I like trash bad comic books while I write a bad comic book. It's like
Tim Lim brings up Matt Weldon. Matt Weldon's one of the best artists I've seen. If it was a meritocracy, his books would be making $250,000.
Yeah, and then basically I noticed that basically a lot of comics get by on name recognition, like Warren Ellis or Garth.
Right.
Well, not Garth Ennis. I mean, Garth Ennis is pretty decent. Well, that's his Punisher stories are pretty decent. It's just that sometimes he does get over the top with a lot of things. I mean, The Boys, sure, The Boys was okay, but it's like it could have ended sooner, something along those lines. And then now they're going to be doing oh, look at that artwork.
I've got 2 Matt Weldon originals.
Oh, look at that. Very cool.
Probably the best piece of art I've looked at in person in a long time as far as comic books go. He's got such a style to it. And,
his style is amazing. His art's always good. He has a great future in store for him if he ever starts doing his own stuff.
They're going to talk about him the same way people throw out Liefeld's name without thinking about it too hard. But obviously, with Weldon,
only Weldon can draw.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Even something as questionably sexual as this. This is still a great piece of artwork.
Oh, it's all sexual when you put it down to it. A lot of art is really sexual. It's out there. It's in your face. You want to embrace it. You want to feel it. You want to you have to dance.
It's made to be beautiful and ideal. It's not necessarily pornographic. It's just ideal.
Basically, people on Twitter are always being angry at titties all day. I'm like, how can you hate titties?
I know, man. It doesn't make sense. How are we supposed to take seriously with the feminist movement about free the titty, and then we're gonna hate the titty now? How's that work?
Right? It's it's basically with me, it's you can't tell an artist to not draw that way because it's good luck on that. It's like asking an artist to do art for free sometimes. Sometimes you can do an exchange rate, kind of either with money or with doing lettering and all this other stuff. Then you can sometimes get free artwork, but that's when you trade stuff for it and stuff like that. But it's when you tell an artist, "Hey, get rid of the titty. I don't want to see the titty," and it's you're not gonna get rid of that titty. That titty's gonna be there, and it's going to be Scott Campbell, and it's going to be Brian Bolondo.
Scott Campbell's amazing.
Oh yeah, it's I basically screenshot sometimes the ass or whatever, and I just reply with the ass. I'm like, yeah, I don't know, just for fun, because it's try to stop that. One of the guys I know, he put his face into the reflection of it. I'm like, oh, that's hilarious. Should do Danny DeVito next or whatever. That's
you mean
hilarious.
Instead of putting NAZI stuff in the background that certain people have been accused of doing?
The what?
NAZI, hiding stuff like the SS in the back of their comics.
I've heard about that before. Yeah, I would want to do maybe.
I don't know why you'd go that far.
I would want to put the titles for my comics into the small background in little corners. That'd be neat. Or on the border of the comics, on the white space, you put basically individual comic creators, go check this guy out, kind of like a Marvel or Conan Comics did that probably too. Have you ever noticed that?
No, actually.
Yeah, there's some comics.
Yeah, they used to be in old comics. I used to see all the time.
I want to do that, with some other creators, but I have to make sure to get permissions and stuff like that, and hopefully,
Yeah. We got Hikaru waiting in the back. Let me see. Point Man, you want to give us a little pitch, and then I'll uppercut you out of here? So I can bring Hikaru in?
Like a pitch of what?
Well, anything you
comic or whatever.
Sure.
Your comic, yeah.
Are you selling the comic book?
Oh yeah, sure. So it's on Amazon. I got 4 comics. There's Gorilla Galaxy, Hell is Full, Town Without Death, Leather Punch. Guerrilla Galaxy is Captain Bedlam had to save the universe and destroy Guerrilla Galaxy in the process. Hell's Full is about Abe Smoke, who has to try to find a demon singer who before it's too late. Town Without Death is about a criminal who basically killed someone and unleashed the wrath of the devil upon himself. And Leather Punch is about Rattle Malone and Kill Babe as they make money after the apocalypse.
Great ideas, great pitches.
That's good stuff, man. So how would you like to get Uppercut out of here? Or would you like another method?
How about I say I'll explain the entire the Pickle Rick meme. Okay.
That's good.
Point Man Comics, thanks for coming. I want to kick you out, but Hikaru's been waiting for a while. I want to bring him in. Hikaru, what's up?
Hey. You guys can hear me?
Yeah. What's going on, man?
Oh, I just wanted to come and say hi.
How do you feel about Was campaign imploding?
It's like the Michael Jackson meme, eating the popcorn. It's exciting to watch and all that, and
it's cathartic.
It'll be interesting. Yeah, it's cathartic. It'll be fun to see how it eventually all pans out here.
Yeah.
Pan.
Get it? Yeah. But yeah, there's
he seems like a reasonable guy.
Yeah, he's totally reasonable. But yeah, I just mostly wanted to say for Mecha, having only been doing this for last couple of weeks.
Oh, me? Yeah, this is my first full business week of actually trying to do this. And,
yeah,
I'm hoping to steal Liam's thunder for our side of things, and that we could take dumps on my channel. And, make this.
I'm probably gonna take a lot of flack for this.
Oh, this one?
you're-
Yeah, I'm
you're
hoping
good,
so. You know, and major thanks to Doug for coming on here. I'm sure this thing's gonna get clipped all to hell. So,
Oh yeah. If I didn't provide material for all these guys' channels, they wouldn't have any material at all.
What would we do?
Yeah. What are they gonna make fun of me for my awesome traps? You know.
Yes. I mean,
the joke's gonna be on them.
Wait, her car's not a girl?
No, I'm not. It's crazy, isn't it?
Damn, I was just about to send you a message about drawing my cover for my comic book.
Aw.
We're keeping Hikaru's camera off just in case he has any nostalgia. Yeah.
Man,
we don't want to see that.
I'm still eating crow on that one. I had some war campaigner give me crap about that last night. I was like, all right.
Now you guys may not know this about me, but I was I was in charge of drug testing when I was in the Army. So I would collect the samples for the urine, and I've seen more private parts of men than I'd ever like to admit to, honestly.
Because you have to have a verification that they provided the sample.
That's right. Yeah, that was actually my first action as a non-commissioned officer was to, my ex-wife, she pinned the rank on me. She's very proud. And then next thing I know, I'm in the bathroom with another man looking at his junk. So
that's a real cuckold right there.
There you go.
Well, I don't know if I'm the cuckold for seeking out I don't know. Anyways.
I wonder why you have PTSD.
Yeah, I do have PTSD.
Now I know why.
Let's see. I was in charge of drug dealing in the Army. Yeah.
But just also, I just wanted to say, of course, love Doug's stuff. Audio Mullet, got to get a shout out for that. It's great.
Audio Mullet, our podcast with Ethan Nicole from Babylon Bee and Michael J. Nelson from Mystery Science Theater and Rift Drags.
Never heard of any of that, actually.
Well, that makes you a normal man.
I'm briefly aware of Mystery Science Theater, but my whole thought process was why don't I just watch the movie instead of having someone else watch it for me?
Yeah. Babylon Bee is the funniest like troll magazine in Christianity.
If my channel becomes anything, I want to be the YouTube version of what they're doing.
There you go. Yeah, you're well on your way.
Well on my way.
But yeah, it's great. I like listening to it. Even not a Christian or anything, but
You should be.
just
Get
the
in there.
insight.
You can always change.
We'll fix that, Hikaru.
Great.
Yeah,
When you stop being soy, you'll know.
Exactly.
You'll know.
I have softened very much on my stance about that since
Good man.
this.
Good man.
So
yeah,
it's a long con. I'm running a long con.
I know. That's what I figure. I'm like, Doug's just like working on this. Working along.
You got anything with Nurkish cooked up on that regard, Doug?
I haven't talked to him in a couple weeks. We text each other every once in a while, but I haven't heard from him.
Yeah, that's. I don't know if you watch Ethan's channel, but he brought up Nurkish last week.
Did he?
Well, Nurkish is a classic villain, you know.
Yeah, because apparently there was some DMs that were going about that were leaked. Apparently, and they brought up Nurkish and some anti-Semitic Discord views and such like
that stuff again.
Yeah.
Yeah, what a false flag. That was his the big CG concern. I'm concerned for you, Nurkish. That was all. And that guy, he barely showed up. They dogpiled him, broke it off in him, and then he just left. And he's largely been off, for years.
He's the smartest one of us all.
He is. He really is. He's a family man and just a good guy. And didn't have any of this coming. Just an innocent. He barely even thought about making a comic and got smashed. Oh, Bunderdome has some Nurkish stuff coming. Cool.
Yeah.
Well, I think the same goes for Cecil. I mean, I don't think we're going to see Cash grab anytime soon.
You don't think so?
No.
Oh no, he'll make it. They have plenty of time.
I don't know, man. It's been like 2 years, man. He's on that same streak with Jeff Hicks, man. I'm waiting. I'm waiting.
He has till February to do it, right? I could do a 300-page book by February.
But the question is, can Donald DeLay do a 300 book by February?
Can Donald DeLay do it? I don't know.
No. He still hasn't gotten Brutus out yet.
Brutus the half-ass.
I'd forgotten about Brutus until it got brought up yesterday.
That's my main problem. It's not drama, and it's not personal differences. It's the fact that I see a lot of these guys out there giving crowdfunding a bad name.
Right. Well, it's like
that
with Doug,
irritates me.
Like with Doug, I've gotten two books in the time it takes some of these other campaigns I backed around the same time to get me one. So like if we're going based on that quality and actually getting a book, like who are the people I'm repeat buying from? Tim Lim, Doug, Gary Shipman, people that actually got me the book and it was worth the money I paid. If you're going to give me a tiny little floppy every 2 or 1.5, 2 years, and I don't even have a complete story, I'm not coming back. But somebody like, Tonic Mole, who's already got a book out and it has a second book coming, and you feel like you've got a complete, comic book issue for your money, you're going to back those guys again. At least
we need to give Tonic Mole more oxygen too. But I've delivered my third 160-page book in a year and a half. And so by my 2-year mark, since crowdfunding starting Bigfoot Bill 1, I will have done 460-page books, 640 pages of original content in 2 years.
And there's no better indictment of the opposing side. There's no better promotion of our side than doing what Doug just said right there.
Yep.
You got to be the change you want to see. And guys, we're almost at the 3-hour mark. My lizard brain is leaking out of my ears from wearing these headphones. And another indictment is they do these 6-hour streams, and I could talk to you gentlemen for the rest of the day, but I'm in the middle of the move. We've taken a lot of Doug's time. If anyone wants to wrap up, and Doug, I'm so honored you came on the show today, and I hope we do get clipped out because, as far as I'm concerned, if I be accused of hanging out with Doug TeNapel, accuse me of that all day long.
Yeah. Heck yeah. We're all in the same boat. We want to keep having fun, keep it light. It's great to make fun of all of the drama. That's a better coping mechanism probably than participating in it.
Absolutely.
Just laugh at it and have fun and move and get back to work. That's my mantra: is work hard so that if you succeed, no one can take credit for it or steal your good work. And then if you fail, you did your best. You did everything you could.
Damn Skippy. So, would you guys like to go out with me, or should I give each of you your own exit from the show?
You should kick us all. As I present the cure for cancer right now.
What cure for cancer? Let's see here. Park Ranger, there's something behind you.
What?
And Fly Fox Pro, what's that behind you?
Crappy art.
That's Ralph.
Hikaru, what's your favorite food to eat?
Oh, I
don't want to hear it. Skinny, we got I Kind of Believe tonight.
Yes, we do.
Yeah, what are we covering? Are we getting Zippy the Unicorn?
I hope he's going to be on. We've got a DM that's open.
Get the hell out of here. Anyway, thank you guys for being here. Thank you to all my guests, Doug, Hikaru, Park Ranger, Fly Fox Pro. You're all gentlemen. We're going to come back tonight with I Kind of Believe over on Vicky versus channel, or this channel could change around sometime in the evening when the sun starts going down. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Much appreciation to y'all. Subscribe to Fly Fox Pro. Subscribe to Doug. Subscribe to the Needle Mover Society. And God bless everyone. And stay tuned for The Cure. See you guys.